Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice-a-week sports podcast that takes place every Thursday and Sunday. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
What was that, Grumpy? Were you in some deep thought or something like that? What is that?
No, I'm getting a bunch of notifications popping up on my computer saying that do I want to restart and install these items right now or try tonight? I'm like, I'm not touching anything till this show's over. Those things, 2 or 3 of them popped up. I'm like, oh boy. I said, what's going on? So you know how it goes.
But for those of you who are new to the show, welcome. As I mentioned earlier, this is a twice-a-week all-sports podcast that takes place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk anything and everything sports. We talk NHL, NBA, NFL, college athletics, world football, and much, much more. Hey, we've also got a fan favorite fan fight segment, Grumpy Old Man.
Yes.
So if you're new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. Also, if you enjoy the content, the best way to let us know is by liking on Facebook, by liking the video, leaving a thumbs up. Apparently, it helps the algorithm. It gets mine and the Grumpy Old Man's word out to the masses.
That's what we like. We like the word out to the masses.
You usually say something quippy there, Grumpy, so I figured I'd leave it open for you, open-ended at least.
No, I didn't. Nothing to say.
Today, we've got on the docket, looks like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers leaving things up in the air with question marks after that last, after that last interview he had after they got knocked out of the playoff hunt. Officially, Grumpy Old Man. So we'll listen to a little bit of that about Aaron Rodgers. I know you're not a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers, but we'll listen to it. Also, Peyton Manning, I tell you, this year he has in that Peyton cast. He is about he keeps, I think, things not well concealed. He's just like an open book. He had a few things about Bill Belichick this year, and I think it's kind of telling. Art Modell, he ties Bill Belichick to him. He ties Bill Belichick to a very interesting Pro Bowl selection when he was a coach there. So, Peyton's little limited time with Bill Belichick has quite a few nuggets in it that are quite interesting that I'm sure, nobody thought was going to get out, but it's quite humorous. I figure you might get a kick out of it. Carlos Correa also signed back with the Minnesota Twins, Grumpy Old Man. We'll talk about that entire situation, and we will cover a little bit of the Odell Beckham Jr. Body cam video from the airport, Grumpy Old Man. That was released today, so we'll have a chance to, I guess, dive into that. And I'm not going deep.
A lot of little controversial segments today. I sent you a couple of things that you probably won't touch on because too much of a hot button topic for you.
But there's other things to talk about that I think, and maybe we'll get to other items. Here's the thing: the items you want us to touch on, Grumpy, trust me, we could touch on that one later on once we get some more clarity to that picture.
So, in other words, you want to bury the lead, like on page 42, like in the little section down the bottom right hand corner. Is that correct?
The Grumpy Old Man we're going to put the Grumpy Old Man. You could see on page 44 on the back of the freaking paper, Grumpy, very back of the paper.
I see how it works.
I do what I can. But let's go ahead and take a little bit of a dive in, Grump. Now, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers lost.
And we also got NFL playoffs coming up Sunday. Actually, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day.
Yes, I was about to say, we're going to share our opinions on the NFL playoff picture. We'll get a chance to go ahead and weigh in on that. The Green Bay Packers lost, really right at the end to the Detroit Lions, and some very bold and ballsy calls by Dan Campbell allowed that Lions offense to stay on the field and to run the clock out. But Grumpy, did you happen to see how that game ended? We were going live. I think it was during Sunday evening. So, by the time period our show ended, the game was kind of concluding at the same time. But there was quite a bit happening in that game, Grump.
Yes, I did. I watched that game. I DVR'd it. and I watched probably like from the middle of the third quarter on after the show was over.
Well, here's the funny thing. So it was all really around one or two plays, Grump, that kind of had an impact, or at least the biggest impact on the game. Now, I'm not sure if you happen to see this. Now, there was nothing called on this particular play, but this led to an injury timeout, which I tell you, it kind of led to a downward spiral for the Packers, Grump.
For certain here, that's absolutely a personal foul penalty with unnecessary roughness, without a doubt. Elbow to the face as he's already down. That's the definition of unnecessary roughness. No call.
I'm telling you, it's like his forearm. And again, that's the only way he could possibly fit something through, a forearm or a fist. But that forearm goes ahead and clocks DeAndre Swift right in the nose because it gets right in between the face mask there, Grumpy. And Swift is on the ground after this, right? Obviously, yeah, should have been a penalty called on this one. But, karma has a way of working itself out because Swift, Grumpy, goes down. And what happens after is the training staff has to go out there and go tend to DeAndre Swift. Now, some members of the Packers were not happy. They thought maybe DeAndre Swift was selling this injury a bit. And I'll let you weigh in on this.
But what does that have to do with anything, though? Even if he is selling it, what does that matter?
I'll let you weigh in on this one. Now, this young man, number 7, I believe it's number 7, was tossed from the game, given an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and tossed from the game after this little 6-second clip. I'll let you weigh in on it. Obviously, as you can tell, 5.6 million views there on Twitter. Again, it blew up there Sunday after the game, Grumpy. But I want to get your opinion on this.
5-yard line, and now the Lions have broken the huddle here. And now the play's being stopped. 5-yard line.
That gets you a game misconduct and a 15-yard penalty. I'll tell you, Grumpy, the 15-yard penalties, you don't really have to do as much as you had to back in the old days, do you?
Why is he touching medical personnel? Why is he touching medical personnel, particularly last week? Right? Now, here's the thing. This is not the first time this guy has done this.
Oh, is it really not?
This is the second time this year. Quay Walker, I believe his name is. This is the second time all year. It's like, what the heck? And the officials came in right away. Bam. You know how you stop that stuff? Flag them. If you got to stop them right at the beginning, you don't I hate when referees kind of let stuff go because then, then everybody takes it another level. You're not allowed to touch medical personnel, period. I mean, those are just the rules.
15-yard penalty, Grumpy? Do you think that's a 15-yard penalty worth? I don't know. What a soft.
And then the other guy, Mr. Elbow, and I wish you would have shown a little bit further, he comes up on him too. What the heck? I mean, so what? It's cool to just steamroll medical personnel now?
Okay. This is steamrolling? Oh, stop. The medical personnel puts a hand on his arm, and he just
get out of the way. I'm going to take care of the man who was destroyed by an elbow to the face. Yes.
Okay, what is Peter Poindexter doing over here? What is Peter Poindexter, by the way, doing getting in his face?
Get out of the way. Get out of the way, Chief.
I'm not saying he should have pushed him. Quay Walker should not have pushed him. But my God, that is a really soft, and I mean soft, unsportsmanlike 15-yard thrown out of the game.
Get him out. Yo, what's to stop from going over and shoving assistant coaches on the sideline next?
They do that shit. Are you kidding me? If the guy gets in his face, coaches sometimes get in players' face. No, they don't get tossed because shit like that happens.
If you put
your hands, NARP. It's a NARP entering the world of sports, and the world of sports is such a NARP with a 15-yarder, I guess.
Guess what? If number 7 could do CPR and all the medical things that need to be evaluated for players who were injured, well, you know what? Then you wouldn't need this guy, but you do. Okay? This guy did nothing wrong. He was just trying to do his job, and jackass number 7 got himself ejected, deservedly so. It's not the first time. Maybe he has a problem with medical personnel.
I'm not saying what he did was correct. All I'm saying is that's a really soft ejection. That's all.
Shouldn't have touched him. Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
I've seen
Don't
players commit helmet to helmets on live players on the field, and they're not thrown from games. But
don't touch him.
Tap a freaking personnel.
Don't touch
Get
somebody.
out of the game. Get out of here.
What happens? What happens if you put hands on a referee? What happens? You're gone. You're gone.
My God.
You're ejected. You're not allowed to do it. Same thing. They're not players. He's not a player. He got what he deserves. It's like it's not the first time this year either.
I don't know.
Maybe he has a problem with ambulances or hospitals or doctors in general. It seems you can't keep his hands off them. Jackass. You got what you got. Your team lost. Thanks. You're not the reason. That's not the reason why they lost.
No.
They had number 12.
It's not
they
the
had number
reason.
12. They had number 12 in the huddle, tossing interceptions all night. You want to know why? Because it was a game that meant something. Bye-bye.
Now
they
did
7.
I know you didn't have. I know you didn't see this, but they did go ahead and show him exiting the field. You and I won't agree, right? I don't think he should have pushed him. A 15-yard ejection from the game, a little much.
That's the rule, though.
A little much.
That's
okay.
the rule.
You know my opinion on some dumb rules, right? Okay, it's not like he went there. I understand, right? If he's over there throwing a punch or he's over there unloading on a guy, he literally tapped him. He tapped him. Tapped the guy.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him. He shoved him. He shoved him. He pushed him from behind. He cheap shot him from behind. He got what he deserved.
I've seen sometimes taps like that not be called push from behind penalties or blocking from the back penalties in the field of play. Okay, it was and when I say tap, I'm using that word very, very loosely. It was a tap, Grump.
He pushed him. Here's the issue. There's a rule. You're not allowed to touch those guys. Period.
He shouldn't have touched them.
Well, there you go. That's the penalty for it. That is the penalty for it. Don't complain. If you're too stupid to remember, it's not my problem. Maybe they should give a moron like this. Maybe they should give a moron like this an IQ test before every play. Hey, jackass. You're not allowed to hit. You're not allowed to touch medical personnel. You're not allowed to touch referees.
I'm saying he shouldn't have. I'm just saying the penalty, I think, is quite steep for an offense like that. Just like I don't believe in giving taunting penalties unless it's something egregious. I didn't think this was a warrant of 15-yard game misconduct.
Again, listen to me.
That's why I'm not in charge of creating the rules for the NFL.
You're one of these soft on crime guys too. Like, hey, guy murdered somebody. See, shot somebody down the street. Just give him a week.
Are you comparing a tap of a medical personnel from behind, comparing that to murder? My God, Grumpy, I've never seen somebody conflate two things.
Those are the rules.
Like you.
Those are the laws of the NFL. Don't touch medical personnel. Particularly last week. How tone deaf and stupid can you be? Bye. I think they ought to kick him out of the league.
Yeah, there it is, Grumpy. Okay, so this guy who's recording it.
I hope that Lions medical guy isn't permanently injured because he should sue this guy for everything he's got.
He went down, Grumpy, when he got touched like that. He didn't look behind him. He was like, "Go, my Achilles! Go, my back!" Because he was thrown so hard, Grumpy. I think he lost consciousness out there on the field.
Did you see the other goof person? See, you didn't run that long enough.
At the tail, okay, it doesn't show the whole clip, okay?
I saw the whole clip. The goof from behind, he tries to get an old man up on him. Like, what's your problem, you jackass?
Let me ask you this. If you're what the hell is I don't know. The entire thing was just an odd situation. I'm just saying for a situation like that, I thought it was a little steep. 15 yards game misconduct thrown out of the game. A little steep. Anyway, I want to show you the clip now. You'll get a kick out of this. There's a reason I included this. You'll get a kick out of this. This is Quay Walker walking down the tunnel after he got ejected, Grumpy. And I want your opinion on this one.
Quay Walker up the tunnel. Knows the emotion.
He goes, hold on a second. Man, I didn't do anything.
What a child.
Oh my gosh.
What a child.
So I know you would find out. I was about to say, I know you would say, what a petulant child.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a 5-year-old kid who did something he shouldn't. And no, it's just not even the first time this year. It's the second time of the year. Second time this season. He's obviously got a problem with people trying to help injured players. I don't know what his issue is. But the other guy coming up,
that's the issue, Grumpy.
they're a bunch of bullies. Look at them bullying little Poindexter there, who's coming out to help a guy who they just elbowed to the face.
I will tell you one thing. I do like how Peter Poindexter, and again, I'm calling the physician Peter Poindexter, right? I get the irony in it, but Peter Poindexter goes out there and he's over here. After he gets tapped from behind, he goes, "Who's tapping me back? Who's throwing that? Who shot that spitball from the back of the classroom?" All righty, buddy. Just tend to the freaking player. Don't try to toughen up and act like you're a big dick bandit over here when you're out there amongst men, right? 6'4", 250, 260.
Oh, stop. Now he's not a man now. He's not a man because he's a doctor. He's not a man.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not a man. I'm just saying
what should have happened. If number
when
7
you're over there,
happened,
you get pushed from behind. It's like the heat check. You're not gonna just like I'm not gonna go up to somebody who's 6'10", 350 pounds, built like a freaking like chiseled to marble. I'm not going over here. Go, "Hey, what are you doing over there, bumping into me at the gym?" I'm like, "Oh, my bad, buddy."
Okay, he wasn't at the gym. He was at his job, trying to do his job.
I'm using that as an example.
Well, no, you can't use it. You can't use an example of some guy just doing lifting weights, as opposed to somebody who's trying to do his job. He gets shoved from behind by number 7. You know, this would have been perfect. Number 7 gets injured, and he comes over and says, "You know what? Screw it. I'm going to take my time." Who? You? He's fine. Let's go back to the sidelines. Crawl off on your belly, dog. That's what he could have done. No.
Well, here's the thing. That's why the Green Bay Packers physicians and Green Bay Packers medical staff goes out there and not the Lions medical staff. I saw right there, because that's such a fierce rivalry, Grumpy. I saw the Lions medical staff as soon as he got, I'm not even sure Quay Walker touched him. I'm pretty sure that was a sell job. He maybe got a finger on him, went, "Wow!" and he threw his arms out from behind him, Grumpy, and sold it like a freaking European soccer star in the box. I saw his legs almost come out from underneath him, Grumpy, trying to sell that penalty. Absolutely disgusting.
Here's the thing,
Grumpy.
The Green Bay guys won't even go him out to take care of him because he beats them up regularly during practice.
Yeah,
so guy, he's just a dope. He's dumb.
It's not smart to put your hand on a guy like that. You should know better. But in the same token, I thought it was a little extreme.
Do you know when I tell you that football players are basically dumb? There's Exhibit 1, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, C, D, E, and F. Dumb. And here's the thing. Here's the best thing. Even after doing it, he was told what had happened. He knew what was happening. If you watch the whole sequence, he knew he was getting ejected. Then he sulks about it. You know they told him, "Hey, dumbass, keep your hands off the officials."
You know what he should have done?
He should have done? He should be jettisoned from the team.
Next time there's a guy like that who if they put another finger on Quay Walker just one more time, any medical staff of another team, Quay should go out there and just lay him out. And then what he should do, he should taunt right over top of him, Grumpy, just to make you a little angry. He should go ahead and taunt right over that after he knocks the medical person out of the ground. Go, "Whoa," maybe hit him with a D-Generation X and maybe a suplex, Grumpy old man, because that would be the taunting that everybody wants to see. That would make you a little angry, wouldn't it, Grump?
He got what he deserved. They lost. Yeah. He doesn't get a playoff check.
He's a first round pick. You know what? As a 22nd overall pick, I don't think his pockets are hurting him. I want to show you, though, because it led to Aaron Rodgers, and then we're going to get to some comments, because Aaron Rodgers, right, didn't make the postseason. It's a minute-long clip, and I'm not sure what to take from this. Because
I'll listen to the whole thing.
Yes, and then we'll respond.
And we can respond, and because there's some big things to talk about going forward.
Yes.
This is it, Aaron.
Last one.
Is it last time out there, last time here? What are you going to miss?
I'm going to miss your questions, Bill. And Mike Clemens taking 10 seconds to do a lead up. And Pete angling for something. And Bob writing stories about my personal life. You've been good lately, though.
What a loser.
And Jason bringing it back home with something that's kind of heavy hitting. Stephanie Sutton coming out of left field. Good question. I miss the guys. I miss the fans. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. I don't know. Right. If I had to put it on what are the odds that Aaron Rodgers returns back, grumpy old man, to Lambeau next season, or returns back maybe perhaps to any NFL team? Pretty low. At least Lambeau, I'd say pretty low.
Okay. You realize he's under contract for 5 more years, right?
I'm
You
not
are
sure
aware
if
of
he's
that.
going to play again.
Okay. Do
The
you want to know
threat
if
was, you remember before he signed that contract, he was considering not playing again.
well,
And this is what the question is, what would you miss? And it's
but he-
almost like the way he pauses like that and the way he goes through it, he's seriously considering not.
Okay. But immediately in the aftermath of a game where he performed crappily in a big moment, once again, shrunk from the big moment, and your team gets eliminated from the playoffs after you'd won, 5 in a row, to put yourself in position where a victory gets you in the big dance. I mean, probably you're a little bit more emotional, I would think, particularly as you get older. He's 39, however old he is. He's certainly closer to the end than he is to the beginning. Maybe that's how you answer questions like that. Let me just say one thing. If he retires, that's $99 million in dead cap money for Green Bay next year.
I don't even really think that he cares about that, to be quite frank.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if what he cares about or not. I mean, here's the thing. If they wait post June 1st, it's still $68 million. You can't even field a team when $68 million of dead cap is going against your team. And he's not going to get traded because all that signing bonus gets accelerated against the cap.
I know. How much? A response like that from a 39-year-old quarterback doesn't strike me of I'm ready to get after it this offseason, and I'm ready to make amends for that. Man, that loss right there is going to leave a bad taste in my mouth, and I want to get to the spot where we're going to win a Super Bowl. That's not the type of response we heard from Aaron Rodgers. That was a response like, I'm seriously considering what my options are, just like he did last year.
Yeah, and what did it come down to? Money. He wanted his money.
I don't think he cares about the money as much as you do.
Oh, I do. I do. Absolutely. He did the same thing last year. Same exact thing.
You think he wants to get another new contract signed, Grumpy?
I think if they say, well, you're going to have to give us back that signing bonus.
That's not how that works.
Well, let me tell you something. They'll get something to recoup that money. There'll be something where they'll get some of that money back, without a doubt. I feel bad for Green. Here's the thing. They made a mistake re-signing him. I would have moved his ass. He's a loser. Here's the biggest problem.
I was going to say, that's Green Bay's fault.
Here's the biggest problem with Aaron Rodgers. He's a loser. He's a joke artist. If Tom Brady was 150, I'd take him in a big game over Aaron Rodgers today. Some guys are winners. Some guys are losers. He's a loser. A loser.
See, you hate the guy. You hate Aaron Rodgers.
He's a loser. And here's the thing. He's an asshole to boot. There you go. I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. He dated that smelly bitch for how long? She smelled. He went to the smell routine. Like, hey, shower, Chief, shower. Look at his silly ass haircut. He's a grown ass man. Who wears up their man bun at 50 years old, 40 years old? Who does that?
I'm gonna let
Aaron
you get
Rodgers.
I'm gonna let you get what else you got for him? What else you have for him, Grumpy? Get it all out, Grumpy, so I can make my response.
His failure just makes me happy.
See, I like Aaron Rodgers, but I also dislike him at the same time. I can like him because I think he's an honest person with what he says. So I find that reassuring. I find that, comforting. You don't see a lot of people who are honest as they come. I think he's honest to himself. Maybe he's wrong with some of the things he says, but everything he says he believes in. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's not going to try to find a way to hem and haw over his sentence and say, I have to find a couth way to go ahead and convey my point. He's going to say exactly what he thinks. That also being said, I think he is an asshole a little bit. And there's certain clips where I'm like, yeah, I either love or hate this guy. And I have moments where I really like him and moments where I dislike him. When I see a moment like this, no matter if you even hate him, it's like the finality of, or it's like the final of this iteration of him as a quarterback, as an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback. It's just like the closing of a chapter of another legend, right? Maybe he chokes a lot. He's still a legend of the game. He's still going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL.
Agreed.
It's the closing of a chapter of a guy who has been a fantastic quarterback. And right, he played for Green Bay too. That has a lot to do with it also for his legacy.
Look at the guys who've retired in the last 4 years, 5 years.
A lot.
Phillip Rivers,
Ben
Drew Brees, Roethlisberger, maybe Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. Who keeps chugging? Who keeps chugging along?
You freaking find a way. Grumpy finds a way. He wants to bring up Tom Brady every damn show, any way he can, and he finds a way.
I didn't bring up any names.
Who keeps chugging? Who are you going to say keeps chugging, Grumpy? Tell me, who keeps chugging?
I didn't mention any names.
What are you watching, Grumpy? Who keeps chugging?
I didn't mention any names. You're the one who mentioned names. I'm just saying who keeps on chugging is all I said.
Who is it, Grumpy? Answer that question.
It's probably the people's champion if I was going to bet anything.
Who do you refer to as the people's champion, Grumpy? Remind us.
Tom Brady, the greatest that ever lived.
Yeah, you just can't help yourself. You find a way always to bring it back to Brady. Always.
Don't worry. I know we're talking about him anyway. The playoffs are starting. That's like his second home.
Goon says Lisa Marie P. Rest in peace.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh my God.
Who's that?
Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis Presley's daughter, died today, 54 years old.
Wow. She still looks really young.
She's dead now. She don't look too young anymore. She's dead. 54 years old.
Wow.
Cardiac arrest.
Wow. I wonder what caused that. I mean, is it just like her? She just wasn't. I don't know. That she's young. I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know the details. I saw Goon's comment and I just pulled it up to make sure he wasn't goofing. I remember Jeff Beck died yesterday. Lisa Marie Presley today. Somebody else is going down.
Is it going to be tonight or tomorrow morning? That's the question.
It's going to be pretty soon. That's all I know. She looks like Elvis. She looks like Elvis.
She looks. Here's the thing. You know how some people, like when they get older, they start doing all that plastic surgery and they look janky. They look old. It's like a botched job. I'm like, stop doing it. You can tell she's probably had work done, but she doesn't look old, if you know what I mean. She 54. She looks younger than that, but 54 dead. No response.
I'm trying to formulate a response.
Because you're watching TV.
I don't know. I don't know when that picture was taken. You know how they do so much stuff with pictures nowadays that make you look better than you look. Here's the thing, though. All I know is she looks like Elvis. She just looks like Elvis.
Okay, thanks for reiterating that point. Let's move on then, because that wasn't enough to capture your attention off the TV. But Andrew L says here, Islanders not looking too shabby aside from the usual Bailey turnovers. I know they just tied the game up, and that's what Grumpy was looking at to see if they ruled it offside for the goal. But the Islanders are tied with the Minnesota Wild right now. About 10 minutes, I think, or was it like 8 minutes remaining in the third period? I thought they have played poorly today. We've been outshot almost like 2-1.
I thought the Islanders played pretty good in the first. Minnesota, another one of these games, and it just made me think as I'm watching the game, even when the Islanders are winning, I'm like, you can't win games like this ever. You cannot be involved in games like this every night and expect to have anything left by the end of the season. Everything's a slog.
Go ahead.
Everything is a grind. It's so hard to play like that game after game after game. And like I said, from the second period on, the Islanders were just dominated by Minnesota, in my opinion.
The Islanders gave up a shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
Minnesota Wild's 7th of the season. Who was on the ice for that shorty, Grump?
Don't know. No idea.
Okay. I was wondering if it was Dobson, because if it is, I'll never hear the end of it from Phil's Facts. But Drew says here, Drew Licata, the Rangers, Rogers, I'm sorry, sounds like he's retiring from that clip. Yeah, he does sound like he's definitely weighing his options, I would think.
He sounded just like that last year, except he seemed actually more distraught last year at the end.
I think because he's weighed that decision before, Grumpy, maybe That's why he didn't sound as he's already probably thought about this on a serious level. And now I think that's it. I think he's done. I think he retires.
I don't. There's still too much money involved for him. I just think he's about the money. I think he's always been about the money, always.
He trust me, he's got a large enough following where he could do something to make money. He's a marketable individual, and he's a person that could just go on, do a podcast, do stuff like that. People love listening to him on the Joe Rogan podcast. People like listening to Aaron Rodgers. You either love him or you hate him. And he's one of those characters, and he's one of those personalities that people like to listen from. They like to listen to him. Yeah, and I saw Minnesota scored again.
Does he strike you as being a guy who's going to work every day? He doesn't sound like that to me.
What do you mean? Okay, you don't become a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback if you don't want to work every day.
I'm talking about when he retires from football. You think that he's just going to, I'm going to start my own podcast. I don't think he's going to do anything like that.
A podcast is not where you have to work every day. People don't have to do 2 podcasts 4 times a week like we do, Grumpy. They maybe do 1 a week or 2 a week. It's not okay. The level that they put on him is not at the same. I don't know. I think Rodgers is done after a comment like that. You don't. That's fine. Rob G says, "Hey, TJ Grumpy, what's up?" Rob G says, "Go Islanders." And Andrew L says, "Fire TJ, hire Bailey." Oh, wow,
Bailey. That would be. Let me tell you something. Actually, I'd love to have Josh Bailey on this podcast as a third wheel, because that's what he would be. We'd have to keep TJ around.
Drew L said the Packers had a lot of MVPs against the Lions. Matt LaFleur in his play calling, Rodgers throwing picks left, right, and center. And lastly, Quay Walker, the real MVP.
I think they should be MVPs for non-valuable player.
NVPs. I like that. Andrew L said, and the Rangers get at least 1 point with 0.9 seconds on the clock. They wound up winning that game. They wound up winning in overtime.
Okay. Can I just say one thing about, just to touch on the Aaron Rodgers thing one more time?
Yeah.
Again, big game. That's playoff game for them. Playoff game. Detroit, nothing to play for. Absolutely nothing to play for.
No. Detroit, but okay. I don't agree with that. I'll make my point later, but no. Detroit was playing for something.
Okay. They could not get in the playoffs. Period. They could not get in the playoffs. So in essence, their season was over no matter the result of the game. And he comes out in big, like he always does in big games, and I'm just going to throw the ball up for grabs. And no one ever says anything because he's Aaron Rodgers, where, that's just, it just happens too often in big games where he disappears or just has a really poor game.
A lot of quarterbacks do that. And that did mean something for the Lions to win that game. That's the first time the Lions have had a winning record in how many years? Quite some time. And everybody's fighting for Dan Campbell. They did. Yeah, sure. Did they have a chance to make the postseason? No, at that point. But they had the ability to knock off the freaking Packers. They don't like the Packers, Grumpy. Division rivals.
Okay. When I mean they had nothing to play for, I mean, it didn't matter. You're not going to the playoffs. That game was supposed to be earlier. It was supposed to be winner of that game goes to the playoffs. I was hyped for that. I was. Then I find out the middle Sunday afternoon, well, no, Detroit's out of it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But kudos to Dan Campbell and the crew for having a winning record this year. Remember, they had a really bad streak. I think they lost 5 or 6 in a row. Yeah,
and at the end, they really started to turn it on.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So it's nice to see that they're playing well. It's nice to see that Dan Campbell starting to have that team head in the right direction again. I like him as a coach. I like him as a person. He's kind of a little bit of a kook. He makes crazy decisions that I don't agree with sometimes, but I root for the guy.
Yeah. I just want to see Detroit in the playoffs.
Drew L says here, agreed, Grumpy. I hate when the referees let stuff go in football, just like when they let Justin Jefferson get away with nearly slamming a helmet against somebody's back.
They know the rules. They know the rules.
They let shit like that go all the time, though. I just think that it was a really odd situation at the time of the game. Flagging that too.
That's totally different because it's not involved with any of the players on the field. It's a medical personnel, particularly last week.
Tony Cheese. Stop, Grumpy. Tony Cheese. I don't even know what you're looking at anymore, Grumpy. Tony Cheese, third party, says here, TJ, What? That guy just lost his balance and fell into the injured play. That's right. That's right, Tony Cheese. That guy did. You shouldn't have put a question mark. You should have put an exclamation point at the end of this one. Yeah, that guy the medical personnel lost his balance, just stumbled into him. So, he fell down the stairs is what happened, Tony
Let me ask
Cheese.
you a question, TJ.
Drew
Let me
L.
ask you a question. Let's
Go
say,
ahead, Grump.
let's say there was a car accident and you were there and there was a medical personnel coming over to work on somebody who was in the accident. And you see him coming in and you shove him from behind. They put their hand on your chest. They got the defibrillator in one hand and they're like, let me get in there. And then he's going in and you just shove him from behind. Do you think that's cool?
Grumpy.
That's
I don't know
penalty
what
for
my
you,
reaction. I don't know
DJ.
what my reaction would be, Grumpy.
You
I
it
don't know
would
what
not
my
be.
reaction. And here's the thing: I'm not going to judge a guy based
No,
off of a situation like that's
stop.
ridiculous. That's a ridiculous
Stop.
comparison, Grump.
Stop. You would not shove the medical personnel. No one would shove the medical personnel trying to do his job. No
I
one
don't know.
does
People
that.
sometimes go into shock and crazy things happen. Drew L says here, Grumpy. We got a lot of comments here. A lot of comments, Grump, and a lot of topics.
All right.
After he was getting locked up after guarding the wide receiver twos, Jari Alexander. But Quay Walker has a problem with the ambulances. And Gungun says here, was there any way that Sergeant Hartman and Private Pyle could have kissed and made up?
Not after he found out he could shoot. I mean, Hartman was pretty tough on old Private Pyle, but you know what?
just a little bit tough on Private Pyle.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what though, that was a great movie.
How tall are you, Pyle? 6 foot. I didn't know they stacked shit that high. The entire movie's great. Full Metal Jacket.
4 inches, Pyle. 4 inches.
Oh man.
Andy
L said, "Make that 2 points. F the stars."
But I'm going to tell you what. That's the way it was in boot camp. Here's the thing. Private Pyle had that goofy ass smile on his face. And even though he might not have appreciated it and it didn't happen this way, what Hartman was trying to do was to get him to realize that, you know what I'm doing might save your life. You can't go into war being a damn goof. Those guys come home in body bags on day one. Sorry.
Not day 2 or day 3. Day 1, Grumpy said.
And he didn't even make it out of boot camp.
Drew L. Grumpy.
I have to agree with Grumpy on this one, TJ. It sets an example for any players who are trying to touch medical staff, because if all that it was a 15-yard penalty, more players would do it. I'm surprised they didn't pile drive him.
What he
Give him
should
a
have
suplex.
the people's elbow, Grumpy. He should have knocked him down, ripped his shirt off if he had long sleeve, and go, "Huh!" and you go ahead and just hit him with a boom. The rock bottom, Grumpy. The people's elbow. The game misconduct and the ejection now puts it back. Puts it in the back of not only Quay Walker's head, but the rest of the NFL.
Well, not Quay Walker. He didn't think he did anything wrong, even when he walked up. I didn't do anything.
Gungun said, TJ, you can make an argument that number 7 on the Packers was preventing the trainer from helping a hurt player ASAP. That's probably why he was sent to bed early. Yeah, well, I don't know.
He's a good player, too. He played for Georgia.
Yeah, really good.
He played for Georgia.
Draft. Yeah, he was 22nd overall pick, if I remember.
He's good.
Gungun Grumpy says, is Odell a man of the people? Now, Grumpy, have you happened to see the video?
I have not. I am interested to see it, though.
Okay, so I'm obviously not going to watch the whole thing. It's like 5 minutes long. I will paint the picture of this because I'll let you watch this, Grumpy, and I'll let you watch certain portions. So what happens is we pick up to where there is medical staff on the plane, Grumpy, and they're checking to see if he's unconscious or what the issue is with Odell Beckham Jr. None of them know who Odell Beckham Jr. is at this time period, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I'll let you watch what happens, and everybody knows, right? He was escorted off the plane. Everybody had to be taken off the plane. That was the end result. These are some of the items that led up to that, and I'll let you watch it, Grumpy.
Sir, are you able to get up? Can you get up, please? You okay?
Can you move the banner and comment so I can see it?
Yeah. Give me a sec here, Grump. Let's do these both.
Get rid of Google.
And after watching this, I would not say he's a man of the people, but I'll let you watch it.
Yeah.
The airline's called for you, sir. I don't know what it is. You good?
How you doing, bud? Not that you've been unresponsive, but they're trying to get to command specifically for
He's probably on a deep sleep. Do you know where you're at, sir? He's probably tired.
Okay.
He looks good to me. Careful.
Where's his pants?
Where's his pants?
Yeah, so where's his pants? Hold on.
What do you mean?
You only got his underwear.
Oh my God.
Are they on now?
Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't on before? No.
Go back, Frank.
Okay.
Go back.
Go back? We're good.
Yes. Yeah. We're good.
She does not want to deal with him the whole flight. I can tell
You
you
know how
that.
many times he's shaking him to put his seatbelt on and he
Listen,
can't spot?
If you don't want him to fly, that's a decision that you guys are going to have to make. That's, you tell the captain, and then we'll get him out. But that's something that you guys got to make.
Multiple times, multiple people. Hey, sir, put your seatbelt on. All we're getting is this.
This is a 5-hour flight.
Yeah, this is 5 hours.
Then that's up to you guys.
Yeah,
That's up to you guys. But medically, if he doesn't want us to check him out, I can't make him. And I don't really say anything wrong. He might be tired or have taken a long trip and doesn't want to follow orders. That's a whole other.
Taking a mind trip.
He just came from a club.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. He's tired.
He looked like he just came from a club. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue. This is ridiculous, though.
Can you pause 1 second?
Yes.
Just to answer Goon Goon's question, he's not a man of the people because he's not sitting in coach, first of all.
That's right. He's
So-
sitting in first class.
Man of the people is somebody who sits in coach like everybody else. You know who does that? I do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is right, Grumpy.
Now,
You're the voice of the fans, the voice of the people.
now I'm going to tell you, the people's champion, he probably doesn't do that either, though.
I'm saying no professional football players who make money like them probably rides coach.
Probably not.
So what we've seen so far is they go wake him up and they say, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yes, what's going on?" Because he was sleeping. And they said, "Are you conscious? Do you know where he is?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm at the airport." And you see the medical staff going like, "What do they call us here for?" He's obviously just in a deep sleep. And they're like, "What is this?" And he starts walking to the back. He's like, "Does he have his pants on now?" And they're like, "Yes, he's got his pants on." Or something like that. So they must have thought that he didn't have his pants on. They're like, "Well, we tried to go ahead and wake him up a few times. They said, 'Sir, please put your seatbelt on.' And he was non-responsive." And then they said, "Oh, it looks like he just came from the club partying. And, we shouldn't have to deal with this for 5 hours." How freaking absurd is this? We shouldn't have to deal with this for 5 hours. Tell him to put his seatbelt on, let him go back to sleep, and leave him alone.
Okay, but he wouldn't put his seatbelt on.
Who knows? Okay, I've worked at a movie theater before sometimes. Some people are deep freaking sleepers, right? Sometimes you're not allowed to touch the person. You would have to grab a broomstick and start hitting seats next to them to wake somebody up. You can't just go, "Excuse me, sir. Sir, can you please wake up? Sir, can you wake?" You would literally have to hit a broomstick on the seat next to him to wake them up. Like an orchestra. Like the orchestra when the guy has the little what is that? What do they call that little baton thing, Grumpy? You know what I'm talking about? When they play with
I know what you're talking about. The baton. I think I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's like the thing that helps them keep cadence.
I understand. I know. I can't remember now because baton, it might even be called baton. Here's the thing though. You realize before they take off, there have to be certain things have to happen just for liability.
Okay, he had to buckle his seatbelt. Well, he's awake. Let him buckle his seatbelt and let him go back to sleep. What's the problem?
I'm going to tell you what.
Problem. He's not unconscious like they tried to brand him, right? He's not unconscious.
Okay. We're not seeing. Okay. Every single flight attendant obviously knows there's been an issue before these guys got here. Now he's just trying to play it cool because he sees he could be in trouble.
Let me ask you this. Do you think maybe, just maybe, one of these flight attendants were maybe the one to conversate? Like, could you believe it? This person wouldn't even pick up. All I'm saying is he looked alive. He looked well. He looked conscious, right? He was apparently taken off because he was unconscious. That's not the case, right? He wasn't unconscious. And here it is, right? They're trying to get some sort of reasoning and rationale from the medical people as to why he should be thrown off. And they keep telling him, no, he's completely fine. If you want to remove him, that's your decision, right? You have the ability to do that. It's not on us. On our book, he looks fine. And I'll let you continue watching and listen to what the medical personnel says additionally. I'm sorry. I'll let it continue.
Okay.
Because what happens afterwards, after Odell Beckham gets thrown off the plane, he acts like a freaking child. But I'll let you watch it. So I think he's in the wrong a little bit too, the way he reacted after this, but I'll let it continue.
He just responded to know where he's at. He knows where he's at, exactly where he's flying.
And he had pants on when he came on. He doesn't have pants on now.
His pants are on now.
His pants are on.
Well, he had shorts on underwear.
Yeah.
He had shorts on. He had this. When I see responses like this, oh, he had shorts on. He's wearing shorts, and you thought he was wearing underwear, and you've made a mistake. They didn't even know. They couldn't even determine if the guy was wearing pants or not. And now you're expecting me to take the word of these people that, oh yeah, we tried really hard to wake him up to buckle his seatbelt. This guy's a nuisance. I'm telling you, they wanted him off the flight just because they wanted him off the flight.
Okay. Can we admit that Odell Beckham Jr. has a history of being an asshole?
You will see the asshole come out. Trust me, there is an asshole.
That's my point. Who
But
knows?
it wasn't now. It's not now when it. Okay, he wasn't.
They weren't. These guys
Like,
weren't
on a
there.
plane.
I guarantee you, these flight attendants saw the asshole side of him before
They didn't see anything. They didn't see anything. Sleeping and looked like they thought he didn't have his pants on, but certainly
All
he
the
did.
passengers were telling him to get your damn seatbelt on. He just didn't want to do it.
From this lady who also said he wasn't wearing pants, which he was. I'm thinking they're making some big mistakes and big freaking damn jumping to conclusion, but we'll continue.
Okay. We'll do whatever you decide.
If you want, we'll stand by out here because I don't know what's going to. Right. I don't know what you want us to do as far as fire rescue.
He's mad at us because we called you. I said, we're worried about you.
That's fine. You guys are doing your job.
He's going to go deteriorate once we get in the air. So he's all embarrassed.
Don't worry. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You know he doesn't want to come off.
He does not want to come out.
Just
No,
what
he's
he
coming to
said.
the next.
Okay. Advise the sergeant to come here.
Motor 70's on the
He
way.
needs to come off.
We're gonna have to deport everybody.
The first class.
So yeah, this is now that they're boarding every. This is when asshole Odell Beckham Jr. is coming out to play.
Talk to him, big dog. Look at me all you want. That shit is not making me feel good.
Okay. You could tell by the reactions of the passengers. They know he was acting like an asshole before too. They have no sympathy for him.
He was not acting like an asshole before.
How do you know? How do
Why
you know?
they're
You didn't
having
see
this
that way.
reaction? Hold on. They were called on. You saw the video. They were called on because
Okay,
he
but
was
it all happened
unconscious,
before
sleeping.
that.
The reason they were called was because he was sleeping on the plane and did not buckle his seatbelt, and they thought he was unconscious, which he was not. Now, all the passengers, because he doesn't want to leave the plane, because Odell Beckham, after they said, hey, we're throwing you off the plane, he's like, I'm not leaving. So now all the passengers have to grab all their shit, leave the plane, and then get back on. I would be kind of pissed if I'm a passenger at this point. And what you see is people are looking at him because they're upset he's making them do that, and then he starts just mouthing off to people. So he acts like an absolute petulant child after this. I don't
That's
think
what
we need
he
to
is.
watch 2 minutes of that, but it doesn't look good. Now, the
See, that's
medical.
the shit I want to see. I want to see because you always think the
You want to
players
watch
like,
2 minutes of that? You want to watch 2 minutes of
I
that?
don't
That's
care. No, I'm
fine.
interested.
I'm not sure how applicable that is to
That-
sports, but I'm just saying the reason they were called and the reason he was kicked off, I don't think was valid.
okay, but we don't really know because he wouldn't respond. Don't tell me he was unconscious. I don't believe it. He
No,
might be
that's correct. I don't think he was unconscious. That's what the freaking flight crew said. The reason he was kicked off. Do you remember
Here's
that?
the thing. You know what
Months
it is?
ago,
He
a
didn't-
few months ago, they said that he was kicked off because he was unconscious and not responding. That's why he was kicked off the flight, which is not true. That's not true. We just saw he's conscious and alive and well. So it wasn't he was unconscious or zonked or under some drugs like they tried to lead us to believe. He's conscious. He was sleeping.
I'm
because
going
he
to
doubled
tell
up
you
on
there's more to
partying
it than
all
that.
night.
I'm going to tell you there's more to it than that. When she say he didn't have pants on, he didn't have this. He got on that plane. He didn't want to put the seatbelt on. He pretended he was asleep and just ignored everyone. That's what I think happened. He's an asshole. He's always been an asshole.
Who cares? Who cares?
Well,
Hold on. That's what you think. You're really jumping to a conclusion. I can tell you one thing, based off what the people who are trying to get kicked off the plane, they first said, "Oh, he's unconscious. We don't worry about that." Medical staff said, "No, he's just sleepy." They're like, "Listen," they go, "He's just sleeping." And number two said, "Oh, he still has his pants off." No, he's got his pants on right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so in other words, his
Hold
pants
on.
were off.
He slept the whole time. He slept the whole time. He was unconscious before that, right? He wouldn't have slipped his fucking pants on while he was unconscious, Grumpy. They just don't know what the hell they're talking about. They want to kick him off the plane. It's fucking absurd.
He was never asleep. First of all, he was never asleep.
Ooh, okay,
He
let's
had his pants off. Then all of a sudden, he finds out that they're calling somebody. He puts his damn pants on. That's what really happened.
Kind of like he was really sleeping. He gave an Oscar-winning performance out there, like he was unconscious, like he was just sleeping. Okay.
Here's the thing. He's always been an asshole, so he gets no rope from me. And then why don't you roll the part that shows him being an asshole, because there's his true colors right there.
It shouldn't have even gotten to this point.
You always defend a football player just because he plays football. This guy's an asshole.
The reason he was kicked off the plane was absurd. And then his reaction to getting kicked off the plane was equally absurd and childish. I'm not defending his reaction. I'm defending when they drug his name through the mud. Listen, I'm defending him because earlier 2 months ago they said he was kicked off the plane because he was unconscious and they were worried about his safety. He's unconscious. The medical personnel here said he's not unconscious, and no, we're not worried about his safety. Yeah, that is what they said in the stories 2 months ago.
So he was playing games with the flight attendants.
How do you know that?
Is what he was doing.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Look at the way look at how they all felt. We don't want him on this flight for 5 hours. Other shit happened that you're just not hearing about. I'm just telling you.
Or do you think it's that people act kind of like a petulant child and this guy didn't respond back to us and maybe they had a long shift and maybe they were getting a little bitchy?
No.
Okay. I think that's more likely the situation.
No.
This guy's sleeping and they get pissed off because he's sleeping.
They deal with asshole customers all the time.
Okay.
This guy, I guarantee he acted totally. I'd love to talk to some of the people who were on that plane who were sitting near him. I'd love to talk to them.
It just looked like he got done partying all night long at the club. Who gives a shit what he did, buddy? Go ahead and take people and put them in their seats and don't worry about what it looks like somebody did the night before. It's none of your damn business. Sit there, do your job, and he's going to sit there.
Walk home, Odell. Walk home. Walk home, bitch. Bye-bye.
All righty, I'll let you listen to this. Now, this is not Odell's reaction is not a good one. He should have gone ahead and restrained himself more.
He's not capable of it.
He should have done better at this. Yes. I'm not defending this.
Number 7? What's his number? Number 7?
Yeah. Number 7.
Put it back up.
Oh, is it not up? I'm sorry.
No.
Give me a sec here. Okay. I'm sorry for everybody who does not like listening to this. I just figure it's good to get a little banter going on. It's only about a minute more. You have to fight through this because Grumpy wanted to see the childishness, but fine.
Let me stand up.
Hey.
Just follow. There's nothing you can ever say to me, ever. That's it. I appreciate it. The only person I appreciate your but that's just you don't have to talk to him. Everything wrong with the world. Looking at me to get off a plane for you. I would never, ever in my life get off the plane for you. Specifically you. Maybe everybody else. I would get off the plane. That shit don't mean nothing to me. Ain't no way you can look at me. Ever. You gonna wait 40 minutes and I'm gonna be on a private plane home. Yeah, your fat ass. Yeah, I will. Get your ass off the plane for a second. Yeah, I bet. Enjoy the cheese board on the way home. Get your ugly ass. Shit don't mean nothing to me, bro. Got life fucked up. I'm sorry. All you had to do was wake me up.
Having them go that way? Yeah, you guys playing around the galley.
Now they get the police there. Because he's
Well,
an
because he wouldn't get
asshole.
off. Because he wouldn't get off.
Because he's an asshole. It's because he's an asshole.
He was thrown off because
He's
he was
an asshole.
sleeping on the
He
plane.
got tossed for being an asshole. Goodbye. Get your
You're
private
dumb.
jet. Why would you want to
dumb.
fly with people, asshole? Get
How
a bicycle. Pedal yourself to your next location. I got no use for him. You want to know something? You want to know who else has no use from anyone in the NFL? No one wanted him. No one wanted him.
Well, this was the same week that he had the tryout, the professional tryout that the Dallas Stars were considering, the Dallas Cowboys were considering adding him to the team. This was the same exact week, but this prevented him from earning that spot.
He's an asshole. We don't want him on our team.
He slept, and those people got upset that he was sleeping.
He's an asshole. He didn't deserve to be in the NFL.
Oh, stop.
Period. He's an asshole.
Oh yeah, because
He's a diva wide receiver.
You're refusing to see. I didn't
Here's
like
the
the
thing.
reaction afterwards. The reaction before, there was none. Listen to the medical personnel. Additionally, here's additional clips of the medical personnel saying there's no issue with him medically. When they keep on trying to peddle
I
that
don't care.
bullshit,
He was an asshole. I'm not saying it was
that's why the media said that, and these air crew people continue to say that there's it's because he's worried he's unconscious. He's not unconscious. He's fine. Oh no, we're worried about. He's not. This is your medical personnel telling you he's not. So again, continue to listen. So it was just.
Well, I know because here's the thing. He was being an asshole to the flight attendants, not following their instructions. He's too good to follow instructions.
They're
He's
trying to
Odell
kick him
Beckham
off
Jr.
because originally they're worried that he's unconscious and that his mental state, or that he can't fly because he's not suited to do so. That's what they called the medical. Just listen, Grumpy, because again, you didn't do any research on this beforehand, and now you're just making
Here's the thing.
a reaction.
I've done research on this guy though.
Okay, continue.
I believe it's the whole thing. You got to avoid the whole thing. No.
Shall I take? I'm gonna take
Not
that
yet.
today.
But let's see. I think he's still talking to us. Because we can't do anything until a supervisor doesn't get it. He was refusing to come off? Okay.
Here we go.
He's refusing to come off.
He's gotta have money because he's in first class.
He's Odell Beckham. You follow football?
Oh my God!
Odell Beckham.
So it's Odell Beckham, and then this is the. I do like this response afterwards too.
The captain wants him off. They were taxiing out.
So they want Odell Beckham. What has he done to make him want to? Can I get his signature? If they're afraid they're gonna have him make like emergencies?
Yeah, he's being funny. He's being funny.
Well, this guy right here who's just like, what are they doing? What has he done to make him kick him off the flight? They see that shit all the time. I don't know. I just think it was a little absurd.
I'm glad he's off the flight. And you know who else is glad? Everyone else on that flight.
Yeah,
They got a story how they rode a flight with an asshole who got tossed. Because that'd be my story. It'd be a great story too.
Grumpy would be wrong every time he told it, just
Bye-bye.
like everything else. So
Bye-bye.
Gugun, a man of the people, he's the man of the sleeping man. Okay, Gugun, I put it like this. What they did to him was wrong. The way he reacted was
You
wrong.
just back up any athlete. You've always been
I
like
said the way he reacted was wrong. Are you selective hearing? You're not able to hear the second part? Hold on.
Yeah,
Ears
I
open,
thought.
Grumpy. Ears open. What they did was wrong.
You soft sold that.
He reacted was wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But he shouldn't have been thrown off that flight.
Hold on. No.
You give the Hulk Hogan response for not tossing off the flight. And then the rest is like, yeah, here's the part. He shouldn't have done this. Yeah, I understand.
Hold on, Grumpy. I want you to do your Hulk Hogan. I want you to do the Hulk Hogan with the ears. I want you to put the ears up and listen to my comments here, Grumpy. Go ahead and do it. Whoa, get your ears ready. Yeah, get your ears ready, Hulkamania. Okay? But what they did to him was wrong. And the way he reacted was childish and petulant. And it was
Bye-bye.
wrong. Both
Bye-bye.
wrong. Both
Bye-bye.
wrongs. Two wrongs don't make a right, Grumpy. Did Grandma never teach you that, Grumpy? Two wrongs don't make a right?
Here's the thing. She knew Odell Beckham Jr. She's like, he's an asshole. There's a reason why nobody wanted him. No one would sign him. No one.
By the
No
by,
one.
Islanders, weird update. Islanders had 23 turnovers tonight to the Minnesota Wild's 5.
Well, I'll
Holy
be
shit. The
watching
Islanders
it.
had 23 turnovers. I don't even know. What was the end of the result?
I don't know. I
Okay.
DVR'd the game
Um,
whenever the show started.
Drew did have a few memes he wanted to show us. And then I feel like we got a lot of football to talk about. Lamar Jackson, not healthy enough to play. The Peyton Manning shit on Bill Belichick is freaking nuts, Grump. It's nuts. And I don't know if it's going to make you hate Bill Belichick or like him. I feel like you're a wild card when it comes to certain things. It's kind of
Should have been tossed off the plane. Yes.
I don't know. You might not like Bill Belichick after hearing a few of these things, but maybe you will. Who knows, Grumpy? I don't know you.
I know enough about Bill Belichick where it probably won't surprise me.
It surprised me, and I know quite a bit about Bill Belichick also, Grump.
Okay.
So we do happen to have, I should have showed this earlier. It fits so well. Drew L said this to us. Grumpy, whenever he hears the name Tom Brady. You see that, Grumpy? You're eating a penis. You're eating there. You just schlong right down the throat, Grumpy.
Oh, is that nice? That's not
That's
nice.
what Drew said, not me. This is what Drew said, Grumpy, because I don't think this is
look
a
like
proper
me.
characterization.
That
You don't
doesn't
have
look
glasses. Yeah, and hair. Now this is just a rumors page. You sent this to me, but it says several NFL people believe that the Los Angeles Chargers will part ways with Brandon Staley if they lose to the Jags.
Can I just say one thing? And then it said Sean Payton would be, a possibility. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl in what year? 2013?
A long time ago.
It's been a long time. He's only been to one Super Bowl, right? And I'm not
He's a
saying
really
he's
good
not
coach.
okay. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but man, he's getting an awful lot of love for a guy who won a Super Bowl 10 years ago and really hasn't even sniffed it since. Finds ways to lose with he had really, really good Saints teams, and they just always managed to lose big games.
I like
Always.
this. Drew sent this to me, Grumpy. It says, Drew, when TJ says, Drew or TJ, God almighty, TJ, when Grumpy says he's not watching anything.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
You should keep that one dialed up. That should be one.
I know. Drew, you've got to send that to me on the Islanders Never Say Die, or maybe I'll just send it to myself. I don't know. I like that one too. That's a good one. Let's continue. I want to get back to a few more comments here because we got to catch up, Grumpy. We got a few comments. We're a few comments behind, Grumpy.
Because your ridiculous defense. You're like freaking F. Lee Bailey or Johnny Cochran defending Odell Beckham Jr. You thought OJ didn't kill those people either, right? Yeah, sure.
Gracious. Drew L says Quay Walker must have scored no higher than at a 15 on the Wonderlic doing stuff like that.
I don't think he scored 15. I don't think he scored 15 on the IQ test to keep doing that dumb shit.
Stop. Gungun says, does any NHL team take as many brain?
Does any NHL team take as many dead brain penalties?
Takes, Grump, so I'm trying to read it accurately. It says takes, okay? I'm able to read, all right? I can read, Grump. Does any NHL team take as many brain dead penalties as our beloved New York Islanders, Grump?
Yes, there are other teams that take more. And it's been established that you can't read, by the way.
I can read, Grumples.
Just
Rumpelstiltskins. Oh, man, Sorokin, he had a hell of a night too, though, tonight. Wow. Anyway, Drew also saying, tell me how you fumbled the bag without telling me how you fumbled the bag. Insert Odell Beckham playing clip. What a self-centered douche.
Looks like somebody else not taking your point of view.
Drew, I hope after watching that, you could see that he was just a man trying to sleep, and I just gave him an issue. He also says Sorokin just made the save of the year again. Oh, my God, says Drew. Sorokin is better than Shesterkin, says Gungun. Can I get an amen? Amen. Amen, Gungun. He absolutely is. The shitty thing again is he's going to be playing on a bad team. So
he'll be out of the playoffs.
They're not going to be a playoff team, so he'll have no chance of winning the Vezina because we don't win enough games. It's the unfortunate truth about it. And Drew says, never mind. That's a goal, and it's still a great catch from Sorokin nonetheless. Oh, it must have been reviewed. It must have been ruled in the net. Oh, wow.
In the first period and a half that I watched, he was sensational.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. He absolutely is.
I enjoyed watching Minnesota play. It looks like their offense has an idea of what they're trying to do.
We only registered 20 shots on net. At home.
I know
at home we're outshot 35-20. I'm sorry, 36-20.
Midway through the second period, we had 8 shots on goal. Lou Nanne is the color commentator for the Minnesota Wild. He was former Minnesota North Star GM, played for the North Stars for a lot of years. He's like Butch in the Minnesota booth. That's all I'm going to say.
Is he a little bit hometown cooking there, Grumpy?
He's just really old.
Oh, God.
I don't know how old. I got to say I got to be 80. He's just a little older, At least he knew all his players' names, though. I give him that credit for that, though.
As long as he didn't say Waltherson and messed up his own team's name.
No, he knew all the players from the Islanders, too. Well, a couple of them. Anders Lee, all the guys from Minnesota area. He knew Zach Parisi. He knew the guys from the Minnesota area.
He knew Cal Clutterbum.
Yeah, he knew Clutterbuck, yeah.
Drew said, oh, wait, that should have been offsides. Never mind. Oh, too bad it went in. Andrew L says, Drew also saying Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might beat Dallas because Dak is a fraud, but he sure as hell is not beating whoever he faces in the second round. He's washed, says Drew.
Drew, here's the thing. They are
and emotionally damaged. Not only is he washed, but and emotionally damaged.
I don't know. The further he gets away from that Harpy's evil influence, the better he plays.
Are you saying what's his record? What's his record post-divorce, Grumpy?
I don't know, but he's never lost to Dallas ever.
The playoffs, right?
Ever. Period. 7-0 against Dallas. Never lost to Dallas. Here's the thing. By all rights, Dallas should beat Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay sucks. And they got the moron crew on the sideline as coaches. Can the people's champion save them one more time?
When did he get that divorce? Do you know what week it was?
I don't know. I don't care.
Okay. His record, I think he's almost like maybe, I don't know. They're pretty much like a 500 team.
Yeah, they're a shitty team. They've had a boatload of injuries, and they're dumb. And they're coached by dopes. Period.
Drew L says, never mind. They called it a goal. Too bad. Give him another shorty. Paul O.C. says, Boston suffered their first regulation loss at home to the mighty Seattle Kraken.
That's bad news for us.
Oh,
don't we play Seattle pretty soon?
We already played them, but we play them again.
I think we play them at home pretty soon, no?
Like a month away, yeah. Andrew L. says here, Dobson was on the ice. Oh, my God. So prepare. Phil's fax is going to come on here. Drew said, yeah, Phil is already retweeting the Islanders' takes and other things like people are going to care about his message. Oh!
Like I said, I'll be interested to see the last period and 7 minutes because for me, we were in trouble from the middle of this, from like the second period on. I don't know what happened in the third or the last 7 minutes, but we were in trouble. You could just tell that they turned their game up a notch and we could not keep up. I mean, it's just really obvious we're not good enough. Sorry.
Let's read this one here, Grumpy.
Fire Lame Lambert.
Who was that by, Grumpy? You didn't even give his
D-Cut. And you know what? I tell you what, D-Cut, he's part of this Facebook fan group called Isles Misery Rated R. But he is a loyal supporter, not only of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast, but of the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man podcast. He's a legend.
A legend.
Legendary listener, D-Cut. Not everybody has a nickname who's a listener, by the way, just to let you know.
Oh, looky there. Don't let it go to his head, Grumpy. So this was earlier on in the year. This is Peyton Manning talking about Bill Belichick. And there was most recently on the most recent Peyton cast or Manning cast, I'm sorry, they talked again about another Bill Belichick situation. I'll let you listen to this first one, Grump.
I played for Belichick one time in a Pro Bowl, and they were telling stories about the times that he was the head coach of the Pro Bowl. One time he picked Peter Boulware because he knew that Art Modell would have to pay Boulware $1 million bonus if Boulware made the Pro Bowl. Belichick hated Modell.
Did you catch that, Grump?
That don't surprise me at all. Not after what he did to his own punter, Jake Bailey, this last week. He suspended him because he knew if he didn't suspend him, he had 3 weeks to come back from injured reserve, and then his money would be guaranteed for the next 2 years. So what does he do? The last week when he was eligible to come back from IR, he suspends him. So the money's not guaranteed for the next 2 years. Ted Johnson, who used to play for him, says he did shit like that all the time. He knows exactly that's why that doesn't surprise me at all. Well, he's actively screwing his own players. And Ted Johnson said, if you weren't performing, he was going to find a way to recoup as much of that money as he possibly could. It's a bad look. That's a bad look for him because players on other teams who are thinking about signing there see shenanigans like that because the players talk. And they're going to go, why the hell would I? If something goes wrong, he's going to do something, so I'm not going to get my money? Ooh, sorry.
Well, and here's another thing, too. So Pat Fryermuth came out today and said he'd never would play he'd never play for Bill Belichick because he's heard certain things. Now, this is, I guess, same game, but I'll let you listen to it. Now, this is a little bit of a different topic. Same game, same. So the Mannings, I tell you, this is why Manning Cast is almost like one of those must-watch shows because just the stories that come out, you're like, holy crap. It's like going behind closed doors and seeing what it's really like.
Yep.
And another time he picked David Ben, who was a long snapper because he was dating Pamela Anderson. And Bill thought the players would like seeing Pamela at the pool in Hawaii. She didn't come, but that's a cool Belichick story.
So anyway, first practice, which is like nothing. You just kind of like stretch, you mess around a little bit, and you walk off the field. I'm coming off, and I'm walking by Bill, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey, where's your girlfriend?" And I said, "Oh, Pam, she didn't come out." He goes, "Remind me why the I invited you out here then?" And he gave me this deadpan look, and I thought he was kidding, but he didn't crack a smile. And then I was like, "Wait, he's serious? Is he kidding?" I just walked off like I couldn't figure it out. Like,
you didn't say anything back to him?
I think I just laughed it off, and I was like, "Wait, what? You really wanted me to bring Pam? Shit, should I call her? Should I call her right?"
So that's Bill Belichick's dirty laundry being aired out to the public. That's for certain. And here's the thing: when the players talk about that shit, I'm telling you, all those stories making around the league is exactly right.
Yep. Now here's the thing: I don't know David Ben from a hole in the wall. No idea. But
coverage there.
They say Belichick is funny in private, but he's deadpan. So that would not surprise me if he made a joke like that. Or whatever. I'm surprised he's not getting canceled. Now, I could tell you a story how we used to draft little league kids, or maybe not.
I think you've already told that before, Grumpy. But you know what, Grumpy? I think you've already told that story. So unless people start asking for it, maybe they don't remember. Well, I'll let you tell it again. But we will err on the side of caution. Anthony Rizzi says, "Same old Islanders, love it." Top 10 draft pick. Here we come.
I guess we lost tonight.
Lost 3-1. But it'll be good still to watch nonetheless. Tony Chi says, TJ seems like the kind of guy who got beat with soap and socks.
Yeah, that's right. Like Private Pile.
After he got his ass beat by the soapy socks, somebody pushed a school. Someone pushed a school nurse while she was trying to help, and he was totally cool with that.
I'm just trying to do his job.
Anthony R said, "Serious. If we are in the top 10 lottery, what is the percentage that we can get number one?" We're not that bad.
No, we're not that bad.
You're never as bad as you think, never as good as you think.
You have to be in the bottom 11 to get up to number one.
Correct.
And the odds are astronomical.
Anthony R said, "By the way, Romanoff sucks." And yeah, good loss, guys. 3-1 Islanders. Eve L says, "Sell, sell, sell."
Yes.
Oh, man. D-Cut says, "This country's going to shit. Grab him by the neck and drag him off the effing plane."
There you go. That's it.
Tony Cheese, Grumpy.
At this point, even if the flight attendants realize they were wrong, they are too committed to making him look like a big old shitburger.
That is correct. They were too committed is exactly right. They were unable to swallow their pride.
Oh, my God.
They made a mistake.
Stop. He's an asshole. And you know what? You looked at their faces. Look at their faces. You could obviously tell they went through something with this guy. They're like, we're not dealing with this.
He slept. We tried to say,
he didn't sleep.
He tried to say, put your seatbelt on, and he wouldn't respond. Can you believe that? And they came on and said,
move on.
Hey,
put on your quiet cap and get to the next comment, please.
Yeah. What do you? I'll put on my quiet cap. You put on.
Drew says another TJ millennial meltdown over a hack like OBJ, nonetheless. Shay says, "I take full responsibility for the Islanders' loss since I was in the building and they won twice. I was here, and they won twice when she was there. Then Shay goes, I started a chant, a Fire Lou chant, but only a couple of people joined in. That's bad news for us.
Tony G's grumpy.
Put up that Ray Rice video. I want to see TJ defend that.
No, good gracious.
She couldn't take a punch. She couldn't take a punch. What the hell?
Okay, Odell Beckham Jr. did not hit anybody. He didn't do any of that. Come on. Joseph C.
TJ, come on. OBJ should have been just listen to the crew, and instead he caused everyone to be delayed because it was more important for him to act like a self-important douche.
He should have gotten off the plane once they told him to get off. How he acted afterwards was not in the right manner, but they should have kicked him off the plane. Apex.
You know what they need? They need one of those like a bouncer to be on every plane. A couple of them. Some guy like 6'8", 300 pounds, and if just bitch slap him there. Get off.
If he accidentally bumps into somebody on the plane, that's it. Throw him out of there. Throw him out. It's just no parachute either. Throw him out of there. He bumped into somebody. 15-yard penalty. Thrown out on the job. Push him out the plane. Overboard he goes. Grumpy.
Apex Legend Senior Citizen says another Islanders big L. They are so bad. Holmstrom on line 1 is a joke.
It is.
You know what? I cannot disagree with anything that he said. D-Cut says TJ would defend Jeffrey Dahmer if he played college football. Yeah, it's like, you know what? He thought that was a rib. He didn't realize it was a human rib. He's okay. He's an
Tony
okay guy.
Cheese with a very, 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 very salient point, Tony Cheese. There you go, Grumpy. Go ahead and read that one out loud.
I do. Tony Cheese says, I do agree with TJ, though. I feel like if he was being an asshole before the authorities arrived, someone would have it on video.
Absolutely. Think about every single one of those. When people start acting like an asshole, everybody's like, let me record this. Boop. And they record it in freaking portrait mode and not landscape mode, Grumpy.
It was in first class, though. So Tony Cheese says, haha, yes, I agree. He didn't mean to kill them. He was just trying to make zombies by drilling holes in their head and pouring Drano into it.
God, Tony Cheese, he's got that.
I would like to complain about UBS Arena not playing a replay for the true wild first goal. I don't know about that.
There it is. Submit the complaint, Shay. Let him know.
Carlos, he says, NFL pred. I think the Bills will, prediction. I think the Bills will run over the Dolphins. Bengals will eat the Ravens. Jaguars jump all over the Chargers. 49ers will smash the Seahawks. Giants will step on the Vikings. Cowboys shoot the Bucks.
Wow.
We'll get into
let's talk about that because I think, Paulo, I think that's a good segue we've got in. I know we kind of talked about this before, but let's try to make the predictions all the way through. Cincinnati, go ahead.
Okay, and we'll keep them short because I know we have a lot of comments yet.
Cincinnati is going to beat Baltimore.
Cincinnati playing Baltimore without their two starting quarterbacks, without Lamar Jackson, without Huntley. Cincinnati in a walkover, just repeated last week. Then which one do you want to go to next?
We go to the one here. We'll scroll down there. Miami,
okay. Buffalo. Miami, 2 is out. Teddy Bridgewater's out. Skylar Thompson, who's been abysmal, he's a starting quarterback. They only won 2 games in their last, 7 or 8. And one of them was against the Texans. The other one, they scored 11 points against the Jets. No shot against Buffalo. That's at least a 20-point victory for Buffalo. This one gets interesting. The Chargers in Jacksonville.
Chargers.
Again, though, traveling cross country, right?
That's true.
Could be an issue. I know it's not a 1:00 game, but still, the Jacksonville has something going. The Chargers, I feel, are a better team, but they have the worst coach. I want the Chargers to win selfishly because I think they give Kansas City a better game. They always play Kansas City tough. So I'm rooting for the Chargers to beat Jacksonville, but it would not shock me at all if Jacksonville won that game. They are united behind Doug Peterson right now.
How much can Brandon Staley F up? That's really what the question comes down to. Can he really royally screw it up? Because if he can, he'll find a way. He will. He's one of the worst coaches in the NFL. I won't say the worst, but definitely up there. Brandon Staley, miserable coach.
Cool.
I'm going Chargers. I think Herbert's just going to will them the victory. I think the team is an extremely talented team, and I think players win games, coaches lose them. I think the players are going to win this game despite bad coaching mistakes. But I do think that Jacksonville gives them a close one. Absolutely. Let's look here. Giants, Vikings, Grump.
Man, Giants played them tough in Minnesota just 2 or 3 weeks ago, lost by 3 on a last-second field goal.
Yep.
I mean, Minnesota's just been kind of lucky all year, but I'm still going to go Minnesota in that one.
Giants
Okay.
win this one, no doubt.
Okay.
Giants, I'm feeling confident. Giants, I'm not a fan of Daniel Jones or freaking the one-hit wonder or the freaking one-play, busted play, explosive play machine Barkley. But hey, the Giants are winning this game. You can mark that down. Mark it, Grump. And you know what? Kayvon Thibodeau might have 7 sacks.
I mean, I think that's going to be – there's only 3 games that are really going to be worth watching.
San Fran's going to kick the living crap out of Seattle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Seattle, no, sorry. And this one is – I think this might be the closest game or the toughest one. You know, I'm not picking against the people's champion, even though everything in my fiber and being tells me that Dallas should absolutely beat them. The only thing is they got Tom Brady in Tampa. That's what's making me pick Tampa. Otherwise, I'd pick Dallas.
You know what I'm going to go with, Grumpy? I'm going with the Bucs. I think the Bucs win. I don't think much of that fraud, Dak Prescott, and I think Tom Brady wills them to another victory. Who knows how many rounds they'll advance, but I think it's pretty much that. Now, I want your take, kind of talking more football. Lamar Jackson. I'll read you the tweets that he put out today, and I want to get your opinion as to whether you think he has any % chance of coming back to Baltimore. First tweet says, "Thank you, everyone, for your support and concerns regarding my injuries, plural. I want to give you all an update as I am in the recovery process. I've suffered a PCL grade 2 sprain on the borderline of a strain 3. There is still inflammation surrounding my knee, and my knee remains unstable. I'm still in good spirits as I continue with treatments on the road to recovery. I wish I could be out there with my guys more than anything, but I can't give it 100%. I can't give 100% of myself to my guys and fans. I'm still hopeful that we still have a chance."
He's not playing the rest of the year.
He's not playing the rest of the year. They can make it to the Super Bowl. He's not fucking suiting up. He has no interest in coming back to the freaking Ravens, and he's healthy.
I don't know if that's the case.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Baltimore can franchise him if they want. It'll cost them, but they can franchise him and the money's guaranteed. Remember, he wanted a contract extension. He wanted to stay in Baltimore, but they didn't want to give him any guaranteed money.
They didn't want to give him a full guaranteed contract. They didn't want to give him the Deshaun Watson.
And here's the thing. The way they play him and expose him to injury, if anyone deserves a fully guaranteed contract, it's him.
I agree with that.
And I don't think he's the greatest quarterback in the world, but I'll tell you what, he's a tremendous football player. He's a good guy, second of all, and he doesn't play games. He doesn't even have an agent. He's his own agent. And all he wanted was guaranteed money. And he's like, you know, they said, "Oh, we'll give you guaranteed money for the first couple of years, but not the rest." Well, by then he'll be beaten to shit and you won't have to pay him.
Yep.
So good for him.
Just go ahead and cut him at that point.
Yeah. And good for him. And I'm rooting for him. I like Lamar Jackson. I do.
I like him as a guy. I think he's a good football player. I think he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he's going to get what he's looking for from the Ravens. And I think that he's sitting out looking out for his own self-interest. And I don't blame him, right? You're looking for your next paycheck. But here's the thing, though. Kind of tells you where the mindset is, right, Grumpy? The mindset's not on, I want to win a Super Bowl. I think my team has a chance. It's more on the, I want to make sure I can get the most money I can. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You have such a finite amount of time to play professional football. You've got to make as much money as humanly possible. He's got to cash in, and his body is one that just gets beaten up because of the playing style he has to partake in.
And the plays that they draw up for him, where he's the de facto running back, quarterback, everything. Here's the thing. I think he's injured. I still think he's injured. I mean, you can shake your head no all you want. He's hurt.
People are making all little, oh man, Lamar Jackson coming to the Carolina Panthers. I saw a few with the Jets. That's why I'm continuing to scroll. But I saw a few where it's like, hey, here it is. Come to the Jets. Yeah. Let me ask you this, because he's certainly sure as hell not coming back. He's not coming back to the Baltimore Ravens. Where do you think he might land?
Giants. I'd love him for
against
the Giants. I'd love him for the Giants. With Brian Daboll as coach, look what he did for Josh Allen. Look what he did for Daniel Jones. Yes, they incorporate the running, but you know what else? He knows. I think Brian Daboll is perfect for him. I'd love that. I'd love that as a Giants fan. I would love to see him play for the Giants.
D-Cut says that bald-headed jerk TJ would probably want an autograph as he departs from the plane. I'd say, hey, can you sign my digital ticket, or can you sign my little ticket here? That'd be a good little piece of memorabilia. Driel says, Jesus F, TJ, your dyslexia is at an all-time high today. Shay says, to be fair about us losing, only one game I went to by myself. The Islanders lost. My brother was with me at the other losses.
Yeah, he's the loser, Shay. It's not you.
Not you. Yeah. Milo Brownie said, you know it's bad when I didn't care that the Islanders are playing tonight. Not turning on them. Just didn't want the end of my night to end my night in a grumpy mood.
I feel your pain. His thing, I have to watch the game afterwards so I can talk intelligently about it on Saturday.
Or to try to talk intelligently.
Can we stop calling Brady the people's champion when literally 90% of the people hate this dude? You want to know why they hate him? Because they're jealous.
They hate us because they ain't us, right, Grumpy?
Here's the thing. I call him the people's champion. That's not going to stop. And when he's retired, you're going to see people say, yeah, that guy was great. They don't like him because he wins all the time. I understand it. I do.
Yep.
But he is the people's champion.
Drew L.
TJ, I sent you stats of a certain player. If you guess it correctly, I'll give you the stamp of approval in the DMs. The hint is the initials BRB, and BRB does not stand for be right back.
Let's take a look here. BRB.
Well, I don't even know what the stats are.
I'll pop it up, Grumpy. Here it is. I'm guessing this might be a certain running back for the New York Giants. Just perhaps. Maybe Barkley is who we're looking at. 295 rushes, 1,300 rushing yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's the only guy who touched the ball for the backfield, so it's got to be him, right? For the Giants.
Shay said, isn't he rich enough to have his own plane? That's true.
Well, he's probably too dumb to save his money.
No, Shay, Grumpy.
Shay, the replay, since the first goal was under review, they didn't show it. Sorry, I was typing that as I was walking through the parking lot and wasn't looking
at what I was typing.
What I was typing. Okay.
Here's
the thing, TJ. You want me to be able to read the comments, you got to leave them up. You can't pull them down halfway through and expect me to piece the rest of the comment
together. Start reading this comment real quick.
The Islanders are 5-7-3 without Pelech. Shay also says members of the Giants' offensive line was at the game. D-Cut says, as usual, the ball-headed jerk TJ changes subjects right before reading my comment.
There it is. Keep it going. Oh, man.
Tony chooses. I love when TJ uses comments to segue into another topic. I bet he feels like a legit broadcaster when it happens.
Hey, this is a great segue point, guys.
He does feel good about himself when he does that. He does.
I don't really care. It's what it is.
Let me tell you something. All kidding aside, TJ does a great job. I couldn't do it. Matter of fact, I hesitate to say most everyone could not do the job that you do with everything that you do in regards to this.
Well, thank you, Grumpy. Chase Claypool's stats with the Bears, as you can see, he had 14 catches for 140 yards, 0 touchdowns.
So bad. He blows.
Oh, God, we got a lot of these. Steelers with Chase Claypool, 2-6. Steelers after Claypool's gone, 7-2. Oh, God, that's not good.
See you later, alligator.
Hold on a second. Shay after leaving UBS.
I will take responsibility for this. It was my mistake. It was on the card. Horrible mistake.
Oh gosh, that's why we lost, I guess. What was this? Yeah, Chase Claypool went 2-15 this season. 2-6 with Pittsburgh and 0-9 in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Good for the worst record in the NFL if he were a team. Losing, never heard of her. Oh God, that was in 2020. Yes, that's better than Reggie Bush. I'm telling you, he's the Reggie Bush. That's all he is, Reggie Bush.
Who's Reggie Bush?
Shaquan Barkley's just like Reggie Bush.
Oh, stop.
Big hit runner. Big hit. He's a big hit runner. He's an explosive play runner. That's what I mean by it. And he's not a guy who's a consistent, hey, I'm going to slug it out 6, 7, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 40-yard touchdown run. He's a guy who's boom, 70-yard touchdown run. 1, 1, 1, 0, -3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 70-yard touchdown run, 57-yard touchdown run. That's what that guy is. That's fine.
So 3
D-cut.
touchdowns in a game was not good enough for you. Okay. D-Cut says, selfish Lamar listening to his agent. Here's the thing, D-Cut. He doesn't have it. He's his own agent. And letting down his teammates. Go scratch, Lamar.
I don't care if he's doing that, man. Just, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to make your money. I got no problem with it. Shay says, do I ditch my Salo jersey next game? Maybe it's bad luck.
Do not ditch the jersey.
No.
He'll be back.
Double down. Get a Salo hat or a Salo pin that you can put on, and that's going to make it inverse. And then you're going to start. The Islanders going to win every game that you're in there with double Salo. Paulo C. Grumpy.
Paulo says, guys, seriously speaking, honestly, will not make the playoffs. We're not strong enough up front compared to the Rangers, Devils, Capitals, Penguins. I'm sorry, guys, to all those Islander fans. It's the truth. And you saw it today. To me, Minnesota is a one-line team. Their one line is really good. Well, they got one player sensational. But it's like anytime he had the puck, they were in our zone. I mean, I thought we were okay in the first period, but from the second period on, they just dominated us. Just yikes.
I thought this was very interesting. These are all the starting quarterbacks where their college alma mater is of all the playoff teams, right?
Okay.
The 49ers, Iowa State there for Brock Purdy, Buffalo, Wyoming, Michigan, Tom Brady. I think this is Utah, right? UU for Tyler Huntley.
Sure.
West Virginia, Mississippi State, Michigan State, LSU, Kansas State, Duke, Oregon, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech. Not a lot for what you expect. There's not like, hey, these are all blue blood schools. You don't see Alabamas or Georgias, and you know what I mean. You don't see a lot of. You see a Clemson, you see an Oregon, but I'm like the Dukes, the Iowa States, the Wyomings. You know what I mean? Like the Mississippi.
Okay.
They far outweigh some of these.
How many of those quarterbacks are legit NFL? Oh, legit. Well, yeah, that's a guy I want to start my team with. Brock Purdy? No, not yet.
Maybe he is.
Okay. He's played 5 games in his career. Pump the brakes.
I said maybe. I didn't say
Okay.
he is. I said maybe.
Okay. Skylar Thompson? No. Daniel Jones? No. Tyler Huntley?
Daniel Jones for Duke. He's fantastic, Grumpy. He's the best quarterback in football right now.
Tyler Huntley? No. And he's not even playing this week. It's going to be Brown. He's another no. Geno Smith? Great story? No. Dak Prescott? Another good story, great guy. I think you've seen that he's not a clutch quarterback either, right? And then you got Kirk Cousins, a good regular season guy, never done anything in the playoffs. I mean, the other guys, yes, I think the Mahomes, Hurts, Lawrence, even though he's not there yet, Herbert, not there yet, Burrow, absolutely, Allen, Brady, that's it. They're legit starting quarterbacks. The other guys are, hello.
I'm just saying, I thought it was very interesting when I look at some of the names of these schools. You don't expect, you're like, oh wow, I'm like there's a lot of diversity, and it's not like all top tier teams. Look how many even non-power 5 quarterbacks there are on this list too. Well, shit, there's only one. But that's what I said. Let me rephrase that. It's only one. But when you think about the blue bloods and real powerhouse organizations, there's not many of those.
And the one is the best quarterback in the league, best football player in the NFL right now.
Okay. But yeah, I figured maybe you get a kick out of that. Perhaps you didn't, Grumpy. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what else I had here planned for today. Man, I think that's Carlos Correa signs back with the Twins. Let's talk a little about that, Grumpy. How does that change the Mets offseason? Fans were excited. Yes. Mets got Carlos Correa, successful offseason. I have to assume, right, that changes the viewpoint of the offseason to a subpar offseason.
I sent you something, and ESPN declared the Mets a winner, one of only a couple of teams. And I was baffled because to me, signing back your own players does not make you a winner. I mean, they didn't sign back the best player on their team. Yes, they got Justin Verlander, but for a bigger contract, more money. And I don't know.
pitcher.
I think Verlander's great, but I still think DeGrom is better. But everything else, they're putting a lot of eggs in that Japanese guy, Senga, putting a lot of eggs in his basket. Brandon Nimmo, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't think they've had a great offseason. They've had a meh offseason. I think they're the same as they were last year. They need upgrades. They didn't do it.
Yep. I think that you didn't address the biggest need, which was adding enough bats to the lineup. Correa maybe could have helped, but apparently the physicals weren't good.
And you lost three. You lost three legitimate starting pitchers, right? DeGrom, Walker, and Bassett.
Yeah.
Say what you will. Those are three legit NHL, MLB starters.
Yep. And your rotation changes. It certainly does. Shea, Grumpy.
We looked good in the first. Third was terrible. We took too many penalties.
Nick D. Grump.
Why? But you want to know why we're taking penalties? Because we can't move our feet. Minnesota, man, they were hustling and driving, and they reaching in with the sticks, right?
The older we get, the brain still tells you and tells the body what it needs to do. The feet and the muscles can't keep up with the brain, though.
Yep.
Nick D. Grumpy.
The Islanders are 22-18-3. Let's embrace the suck and cheer to miss the playoffs. Let's make John Ledecky eat his word. In Lou, you suck. I like that.
Grumpy, here you go. My little brownie Grump.
Grump, thoughts on Hall of Fame lifetime bans, players with alleged allegations of steroid use versus allegations of gambling. Think you'll ever see Bonds or Clemens get voted in? I could care less about steroid use. I could care less.
Yep.
And honestly, if you're talking about Pete Rose, I could care less if he bet on baseball when he was a manager. I could care less. Anyone who saw Pete Rose play could never, ever, ever say that he dogged it in a game. Ever. Never freaking ever. You could never, ever convince me that he would ever throw a game. He was just not that type of guy. Bonds and Clemens should already be in. It's laughable that they're not in. Totally laughable. And what's even more offensive to me is there are other guys who they're letting into the Hall of Fame who obviously have taken steroids. I don't care. But to keep certain guys out to make a point. Barry Bonds absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens, 7 Cy Young Awards?
Yep.
Absolutely. A-Rod should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. Stop.
I think it's ridiculous. You see guys like Frank Thomas obviously used, guys like Ivan Rodriguez obviously used, guys like David Ortiz obviously used. Mike Piazza never used a steroid in his life, Grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't speak bad
David
about
Ortiz. He was popped for steroids, and then since they like him, they squeegeed that off his record.
He's personable. He's got the MLB Network job, so he's able to. You're right. He's able to clean up any sort of wrongdoings in the past. But guys like Barry Bonds weren't likable because he was just so damn good when he played, and he's not a very vocal guy.
He was a jerk. He was a jerk. Absolutely.
But same thing with Clemens. Not very likable guys, but the talent on the field and the talent on the baseball diamond was undeniable. That's what Hall of Fame is.
I hated how the New York press treated A-Rod. Hated it. St. Derek could do no wrong, but A-Rod, man, oh man, they had their knives out for him the day that he was traded there because of that magazine article he did, where he said, we don't gear up our defense. We don't worry about Derek Jeter. Oh my God. St. Derek, you said something about him. They hated him since then. I tell you what, newspaper people could be nasty individuals. They got the power of the pen.
Yep.
D-Cut says, I do give you guys credit. 12 plus hours of content in 5 days. Impressive.
Thank you, D-Cut. Shea Grumpy.
I have a Salo shirt that says, I'm a Salo fan. Good for you.
There it is.
Nick D says, D-Cut, I have no idea how they do it. They do a great job. I would like to see SunX on here sometime soon. Yeah, SunX has some things he's got to take care of first before he comes on the show.
Thank you there, Nick D, as well.
Yes. That just goes without saying. If I don't say thank you, just know it's understood that we're thanking you. Shay says, but they lose when I wear that too. Shay has a conundrum. Maybe you should just put it in mothballs and just try something else. D-Cut says, the NFL can't be happy with 2 teams playing the third-string quarterbacks in playoff games. They did the expansion last year, and or was it 2 years ago? Or last year was the first
Last year.
and it's just a money grab. Don't you think we could have gone away? Did we really need to have 6 games this weekend? Did we need to have Seattle and Miami in the playoffs? No. You could have done the 2 buys with Kansas City and Buffalo in one division, one league conference, and San Francisco and Philadelphia in the other, and then just had 4 better games. They're pretty much the same games anyway. Why not have that?
Drew L.
TJ, all I'm going to say is that if Daniel Jones gets a legit
weapon,
not Isaiah Hodgins and Rich James, but a legit number 1 and a tight end, and he plays well again, I will be sending you and Grumpy the apology form.
I couldn't understand it, but yeah. Here's the thing. He's not legit. He plays like shit. He has weapons. He's got one of the best. Here's the thing. He's got one of the best, he's got an explosive running back, right? Explosive running back to create things. They make things happen. You're not going to get me to believe that Daniel Jones throwing like 200, a little over 200 yards a game is impressive. Just not. He's a freaking turnover machine too. Drew says here, because I think that Joe Schoen is not getting Lamar. I can see the Jets going for him though.
I don't think he's going anywhere. They're going to franchise tag him. They're going to tag him, period.
Shay says, I'm honestly happy he's not with us. Paying him like he's 40 and a prospect hugger as myself gives me room for Batty. Yes, I know he's not proven. But yeah,
talking about Correa.
My little brownie said, I have nothing to add on football speak except for how much it sucks and blows. So damn boring. How many players on each team? 50? 52. It was close. 52.
It's actually 54, but you can only dress 46, I believe, on game day.
Okay, Joseph C. Grumpy.
They'll find another bat at the deadline. I'm not worried about it. DeGrom gave them 11 starts last year, and they still won 101 games. Verlander can give them 30. Maybe. He's 40. Joseph C. says their bullpen is better. Their rotation is better, in my opinion. And they'll have Alvarez and Batty, who will give them better production from catcher and third base than they had last year. Prospects are prospects till they're not anymore.
That's a lot. That's a big if. Sometimes those guys look like surefire things never pan out.
And you're just handing the job to Alvarez. Okay.
Does everyone remember Colby Rasmus? Top 5, top 10 prospect for the Cardinals for many, many years. Never amounted to anything. I mean, like there's guys do that all the time where they're 4A players. They do great in the minors and they just flame out. Shay says, I want the Mets to sign Trey Mancini.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think he's the answer.
And Joseph Seagram.
Mets will get Ohtani or Machado next offseason as well. Cohen has unlimited funds, but he's not going to make bad investments. There's a reason why 2 teams passed on Correa on a long-term deal.
I don't mind them passing on Correa. I didn't like the contract they were going to hand out to him. I just thought we needed to do more this offseason. We didn't do it regarding the bats. That's the biggest thing for me. And I'm not going to put, hey, Alvarez and Batty are going to solve our inability to freaking knock in runs. Alexander Grumpy.
One of our friends. Oh, my God. We are terrible talking about the Islanders. True. Just getting off work, tuning in late. It's okay. I hope you had a good day at work. D-Cut says, TJ, don't get a big head after a few compliments, you bull-headed jerk. If it gets any bigger, you won't be able to fit through the door.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh, no. Alexander says, we are going to shock the world Sunday, guys, with Skylar Thompson. I don't think so. That would be a shock.
That would be a shock.
D-Cut says, that big-eared weasel, Adam Silver, is a spineless POS. These players never play.
Ugh, Adam Silver. Alexander Grumpy.
Alexander says, rumor has it that Brady could be in Miami. I'd love him in Miami. Okay, what I've heard, 3 teams in the running for TB12. Raiders, 49ers, Dolphins. Those are the 3. 1-year deals. Shay says, they never.
Alexander says, we don't need Correa. We could wait for Machado, Ohtani, or Soto next season.
Oh, but see, you got a 38-year-old Scherzer, 40-year-old Verlander. You got a lot of older players.
Exactly. Our window is more finite when it comes down to the pitching staff, which has always been one of the positions of strength for us. So I'm kind of like, we're we got rid of one of the younger guys of the staff. That's the ace. So, hey, we'll see. Shea, Grumpy.
They won 3 of those DeGrom starts, just saying, not giving him 5 years. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, if he's healthy, he's worth every penny.
I love how we always do it like based off of wins, right? How many wins does a starting pitcher have? Felix Hernandez was a freaking superstar stud for many years. I don't care how many wins the Florida Marlins could go ahead and runs the Florida Marlins could knock in behind him, right? Or he got a whole bunch of no decisions. If he's a fantastic pitcher, has a low ERA, a lot of strikeouts, he's doing a great job. Your bats need to do a better job knocking in runs.
Yep.
If DeGrom played for the freaking Yanks last year and he was healthy, right, how many wins would he have over that time period, right? If they had run support, you're looking at a totally different story regarding the win column.
The whole thing about DeGrom is the injuries. That's it. That's the only caveat.
Can he stay healthy?
Shea says, I think Alvarez starts the year in the minors this year. Same with Batty.
I'd agree.
Maybe. Who's their starting catcher now? I don't know. They traded McCann.
Signed somebody recently. I can't remember who it is.
Okay. Drew says, don't forget, in Houston, you practically gain 2 to 3 miles per hour on the fastball, so don't be surprised. In cold New Yorker, Verlander can barely touch 95, 96 and may not have the same stuff like in Houston. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it helps pitching in Houston because you're going to have a lot of run support there.
That too. And again, that makes sense. They signed Omar Narvaez, Grumpy.
Okay, from Seattle. Okay.
Yeah. Shea also, Grumpy.
Yes, I sent TJ this. He didn't deem it necessary, but I think it's a big deal. There will be robot umps at all AAA games this year. Thoughts?
I did see they have where they can now challenge, or a batter, if he wants to, he can challenge a strike call too. They're going to try to roll that out sometime.
Yeah, good luck having that overturned when they put out the robot umps. Yeah, sorry. That's not changing. They want that thing to work. I mean, who would really be against robot umps? How about the Major League Baseball Umpires Union? Think they're against that?
I'm sure they're going to be against that.
Think so?
Oh, D-cut, Grump.
Hey, Alexander, Tua thought the Islanders won tonight. Good one. Thank you.
Oh, Paula C. Grumpy.
TJ, what's that camisole shirt you're wearing? You wouldn't catch me dead wearing that in January here in Montreal.
It's Dwight's Gym for Muscles.
Why don't you put a real shirt on?
This is a real shirt, Grumpy.
You got a gray shirt on that lily white skin. Ugh.
Alexander
says, thanks, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day as well. We are. Alexander's a great guy. Met him in person. Great guy. Drew says, Skylar who? Exactly. Skylar Thompson. Alexander says, Grump, how many more years do you think Brady has in him? I think he's probably got 2 years left, but I think he's only going to play for 1. I think he wants to go out on top. That's what I think. Then Alexander also says, oh my God, here in Texas, they are sipping the DeGrom Kool-Aid. He's good though.
He's fantastic. When he's healthy, he's one of the best. He's an ace. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. Top 5, no doubt.
Yep. Andrew L says Felix Hernandez was on the Mariners, not the Marlins, TJ.
Shitty teams. You see how well I remember it. Shitty teams with that same color. The colors are similar between the Mariners and the Marlins. That's right. Correct. I will always tell you. I know
you
that
have an autograph. You have an autograph.
Signature. He had that circle around it.
Yes.
I that's where I grabbed my signature. I put a little underline under it because I grabbed it from Felix Hernandez back in the day.
There you go.
Hey, Grumpy. Yep, there it is.
It's Nito and Omar Narvaez as our catchers.
Ooh.
Grump, who really killed JFK? I think
the CIA.
I think I'm not going to tell you. I don't know the individual, but I think it was more than just one guy.
Sorry. The CIA killed JFK.
Okay.
Drew Grumpy.
Just for clarification, Jordan was chucking 94, 95 in Houston when his fastball averaged around 92, 93.
I'll let you read some comments, Grump. I got to piss.
Okay. Drew says he occasionally touched 96. Shay then says, yep. They have challenges on balls and strikes this past year in low A. Alexander jumps in with robot umps. You have a chance of malfunctioning on the field. That's why they're testing it. They're moving up every single level. And they want robotic umpires. They want that. And they will eventually get that. Drew says, Paul Maurice for Coach of the Year for the Florida Panthers. I know TJ's going to like that. Shay goes, better chance of TJ wearing a full shirt on this podcast or the Islanders scoring on the power play. I think the Islanders scoring on the power play. TJ, I don't know. I don't know why he wears those damn tank tops. I can't get him to not do it. We need the people to get on his ass about that. My little brownie says, Shay, great question. Frank from Empire State goes, hi. Oh, how you doing? Just got done watching the Islanders game. Like I said, Mayfield with his offense attempt cost us the second goal and game and 23 turnovers for the team. WTF. Like I said, I haven't seen the last couple of periods, but I do know that Minnesota was pressing hard. And I don't think they're supremely talented. They have some extremely talented players, but they have that drive. They remind me of us, but with some offense and an actual scheme. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows, when I was watching, they had set plays that are running coming into the zone all the time. When the Islanders come in the zone, just like, hey, just skate around, guys, get in front of the net. We'll throw a puck on there. Hopefully we can chip it in. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to what we do offensively. And it was interesting to see a team like Minnesota that has that ability. Alexander says, D-Cut, no more Tua jokes. He's had enough. Drew goes, meant Jordan Montgomery. When I said Jordan, that was a typo. That's cool. I didn't know who you were talking about, but I'm like, okay, it makes sense. Drew also go, what's going to happen with Trevor Bauer once the suspension ends? Does he get signed? The Dodgers dropped him today. I think his suspension is over already. But if you're a team that's looking for a pitcher, why would you not sign him? I mean, I would absolutely roll dice. He's 32. He's going to have to take a pay cut. I would absolutely give a shot to him. And you just say, hey, buddy, you got to keep your nose clean, or, put that type of stuff in the contract. But a talent like that, absolutely sign somewhere. Should.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. There's a few things, right, Grumpy? You said freaking somebody said Paul Maurice for Coach of the Year. Drew L. That's it.
Drew said that.
Man, oh man. Now you're talking about Trevor Bauer.
No, it was Drew. It was not Drew. It was Drew. Not.
Oh,
yeah. Drew L. Drew Licata. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I thought it was when I was listening.
My bad.
Trevor Bauer, I think, will get signed again. Now, when it comes down to what's going to happen between, I think Trevor Bauer is one of those polarizing people. Either you love him or you hate him. Either you believe he's innocent or you believe, hey, I believe what the media said. And here's the thing. He's a guy where he reminds me a lot of Rodgers, but in an MLB uniform. He really does. I think that people I've listened, he's a guy who I think he does like a lot of the media stuff now since he's been out. He does like teaching people how to play. He does a lot of this is my side of the story and this is me breaking it down. It's almost like, like YouTube drama. It's almost like the MLB version of YouTube drama. Here's the thing. How much do you think Trevor Bauer actually has left in the tank? He hasn't pitched really in live games in 2 years.
He's only 32 years old.
But do you think not pitching in live games in 2 years will affect him? I'm not talking about anything else. Just talking about, does he have talent left is all we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
You think he does?
Yes. Just take him a little while, just throwing might take him a little bit longer to get ready. But yes, absolutely. I'd absolutely sign him. If I was the Mets, certainly. He will be signed. I don't know when it'll be, but you're going to see some team take a shot at him, even if it's deadline or whatever, because they need to add someone for a playoff push.
Alexander Grumpy.
TJ wants to show off the guns for the ladies.
No, I just get done working out. So when I get done working out, I don't want to put on another shirt there to dirty up another shirt before a shower.
God.
So here we go. Now, we saw this yesterday. I think Drew sent, or maybe Alexander said this. We saw this yesterday, but hell, I can laugh at this twice, Grumpy. Do you remember this? Do you remember we watched this yesterday, Grumpy?
I do. Our boy Appleby.
Our boy Appleby. Look at this. I'll let you. I want to watch this one.
I do like what they say too.
On the power play, just a dump.
Feet away and bounce awkwardly on Appleby. What in the world happened? He was just clearing it down ice. And Max Wellman scores from 180 feet away. With 11:33 left in the second, Ken Appleby misplayed it.
My God.
And it's 2-1 Phantoms.
And that wasn't even the good angle. We had the better angle yesterday through.
He should be up with the big team.
I'll be honest with you. He tries to stop the puck, tries to get back to his skater, but man, it's embarrassing. Embarrassing is what it is. They mentioned we've talked about it before. 11 losses now in a row for Bridgeport. Given they've missed some of their better players like the Atu Ratus, like the Parker Wotherspoons. They've missed players that are valuable to their team over this time frame. But man, 11-game losing streak. Don't know how the guy like Brent Thompson keeps his job.
Okay, it doesn't bother me, the winner losses in the AHL. It really doesn't. But are you developing the young players? It's a developmental league.
Can you say has he developed over the longevity of his career?
No.
How many players
No.
has he developed?
Not enough.
Defensemen, sure. A few defensemen, absolutely.
Yeah, but you think about the guys. Think about the guys who are in this organization. Verhaeghe, did he play down in Bridgeport?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Carter.
See, that's a big miss when you let guys like that go, and they're really good players in the NHL. At some point in time, somebody's got to be held responsible for stuff like that. We've had other guys that we've had and we just let go for some unknown reason. I don't know why, but I've never understood the playing veterans, like guys 29, 30 years old over younger kids in the A. I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand it. Their careers are over or never going to happen, as opposed to the young guys who have a shot. It's confusing to me.
I'll tell you this too. My God. Yeah, he played 2 seasons for Bridgeport, and he played between Bridgeport and the ECHL. No team ever had Carter Verhaeghe on the ECHL lineup besides the Islanders.
Yeah.
With the Missouri hold on. We used to have the Missouri Mavericks used to be our ECHL team, I guess, but before the Worcester Whalers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I'm just making an assumption here. Yeah, it had to been. Yeah, my God, yikes. So we had him on the AHL and the ECHL, kind of running back and forth, and then he spent 2 years in the AHL there for Tampa. I mean, he lit it up there in Tampa, and ever since he's been a guy who's been productive in the NHL. Isn't that crazy, huh?
And did nothing for us though. Nothing.
Could never get out from underneath the freaking.
When
he played in the ECHL, he played 6. Look at these fucking stats. This is quintessential mismanagement of an asset. Holy crap. Look at this shit. I'm sorry. Like, look at the production. And again, it's the A, right? When he was his first year with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers in the AHL, 30 games played, 15 points. He played in the ECHL 20 games, 25 points, over a point a game. And he went to the playoffs. He was over a point a game pace. Then his next year in Bridgeport, 45 games played, 29 points. He played down there 16 games in ECHL. He had 32 points. He averaged 2 points a night in the ECHL.
Yeah.
Why was he spending time there? Couldn't tell you. And the AHL, right? He was almost on a point a game pace.
And we let him go.
And you see there for the Syracuse Crunch, again, right around a point a game pace, both years. Hey, Tampa gives him a little bit of a try. All right, doesn't light the world on fire. The Florida Panthers put him in a situation, identify the talent, and he's been brilliant for them.
Well, what was the problem in Tampa though? Because he developed in Tampa.
Not enough space for him to grow.
That's right. Too much talent on that roster.
Yep.
Tell me he wouldn't be on the first line for this team right now. He'd be a first line winger.
Absolutely he would. No doubt in my mind, Grum. And a guy like AJ Greer is another one. I mean, he played for us. Yep. He played for the right. AJ Greer's played on the Boston Bruins. He only played 26 games this year, but has 7 points. He's a bottom line guy. But these, like you talk about, like, oh man, we had a Hudson Fasching, right? Oh wow, we were able to. AJ Greer's like a Hudson Fasching, bottom line guy who has a year or two where he's really good.
And what's he get paid? Peanuts, right? Just like Fasching. And we're paying our bottom line what? 2.5 for Casey, 1.5 for Matt Martin, and Clutterbuck gets whatever he gets, 2+. Those guys are they're like vet minimum guys. That's how you want to know why you don't have, or you complain you don't have money. You say you don't have money because you sign your bottom pairing, your fourth line to big contracts. Just dumb. Lou Nanny, I mentioned earlier, he said he talked to Lou Lamoriello, and he said that Lamoriello was complaining. Well, not complaining. He said, we've had a whole bunch of injuries this year. That's why they're struggling. That's what Lamoriello told Lou Nanny today.
Who's Lou Nanny?
Lou Nanny is the color commentator for the Minnesota Wild.
Okay, when I hear that name, it sounds like somebody's Twitter handle. Okay, so he was saying the reason we're struggling is because of injuries.
That's what Lou said, that, you know, they've had a bunch of injuries, which is probably the reason why they're struggling this year. Lou Nanny's got to be, I think, older than Lamarillo. He used to be, I told you earlier, he used to be the general manager of the North Stars, used to play for the North Stars. He's got to be 80 if he's a day. Lou Nanny, Nanne. I don't know how old he is, but he looks pretty old. He looks like a cross between Chico and Butch. Chico Resch.
Let me pull up here. Lou Nanny. I'll tell you one thing. What a weird way to spell Lou Nanny. Okay, gotcha.
Nanne.
Lou Nanny, 81 years old.
I told you. That's what I thought, 81, right? Is that what I said?
Yep.
So he's older than Lou, actually.
Christ almighty. Maybe that's why he trusts him and he speaks in confidence there.
They're pals. I'm sure he's been in the league just as long as Lou has.
Christ almighty.
Well, maybe just the name, Lou's.
1 year in the Minnesota North Stars head coach, 29 games. He was 7-18-4. Then he lost his job. He was a midseason replacement.
I think he was a GM also there for a while.
Frank Grumpy.
If the CIA caused it was the CIA, he thinks, who was responsible for JFK's death. He threatened to end the CIA and get us off fiat currency and back to the gold standard, so that Rothschilds weren't cool with that. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about that, but there's a theory for you.
Rid of the Fed Reserve and all that stuff. Andrew L says here, those tank tops are not meant for big, pasty, white arms.
Ooh.
Pasties, baby. They're here for the pasties. Drew L. Grumpy.
D-Cut, thank you. His New Year's resolution should have been for both podcasts, not just the Islanders Never Say Die.
It'd be so tough to do both of those on time. I get at least one now, which is good. And next year will be another. My Little Brownie.
How is Grump in a shirt and hoodie and TJ in a tank top? Don't you guys live in the same area? No, we do not.
No, we do not. Frank Grumpy.
You're right, Grumpy old man. Anders sucks. He was afraid to skate the puck in the zone. Yeah, he's terrible. He's terrible. He goes into corner. He doesn't come out with the puck anymore. Sorry. Shea said, was the crowd dead for most of the game except for the no-goal call, which got overturned? The crowd was booing after, was boring as F. No one joined in my chants. I didn't have tickets in the blue and orange army today.
That's right. The blue and orange army. Oh, man. I bet you that army is quite battered. It's like freaking Confederates fighting on their last stand. They're cutting up horses to eat because they're starving to death.
It bothers me that it seems like the majority of the fans are clueless that Lamarillo needs to go. That's a problem, because I don't think that they're going to move him unless the fans are just in revolt. It might take another year or two. Who knows?
Christ almighty. That means we're going to have to do our job a whole lot better, Grumpy. We're going to have to get out to the masses more than
the people need to clue into us. Well, we're trying to educate. We are.
We got to do better.
Just because Bauer is a head case. True. Did you guys see the Appleby goal? Yes, we did. Thank you.
It's a gaffe for certain. Now I want to show you this. Shay sent me this. What in God's name is this? Is correct. So I don't know if you happen to see this. It's a New York Rangers jersey, but it's got McDavid on the back of it, Grumpy.
Maybe I think it's wishful thinking.
That's for certain.
I mean, wouldn't you wish for that too? I mean, I'd love to see 97 in an Islanders jersey, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be nice, but
boy, tell me that wouldn't make us better.
I know, Drew, it was a joke. Paul Maurice is the damn. I know it was. Yeah, Drew says, oh, yeah, speaking of YouTube, Trevor Bauer has a channel called Momentum. It's actually really entertaining to watch. It's one of my favorite channels on YouTube right now. I was about to say he comes out like, I was about to say he's got like a lot of drama associated with it. He tells, that's what I mean by like he's Aaron Rodgers. I know Grumpy doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. I can respect Aaron Rodgers because, again, telling what he honestly thinks is his truth and the truth of it, and I'm just sure it's the same thing with Bauer. So, I compare them kind of similar. Joseph
I'm just talking about him as the athlete. That's all.
Drew, you do know that Verlander had the highest average velocity in his career last year, right? I don't think that continues, but yeah.
Maybe they goose those stats in Houston. Wouldn't surprise me, right?
Well,
Like guns, the guns a little juice. Okay.
Shea,
Maybe they go like this. Maybe they go like this when they measure it. They kind of just move it towards home plate.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
It's
by the
all
way,
the machines that do it move a little bit forward, a little bit.
yeah, that's it. Also, by
They
the
don't
way,
hold on. You think they hand time the freaking speed still?
I don't
They
know what they
do
do.
on machine. They do a machine. Yeah, they don't hand time that anymore.
Also, by the way, Snyder has been MIA since he's been returned to Bridgeport.
Mm,
She thinks he's missing.
I think he's missing. Well, yeah. Drew L. Grumpy.
TJ, before you end the podcast, pull up the Vesa Tuscala goal he gave up from 198 feet away and tell me that the Bridgeport one was worse.
Okay, I'll get that. Alexander sent it. So I'll have to look at it. Alexander Grumpy.
I love how they just went to the center ice after that. And I don't think his Appleby even gotten up off the ice. He just laying there like he's dead.
He's still laying down there. Grumpy is right.
Here's the thing that they'll always somebody will talk about. Hey, remember when you gave it? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. When he's 100. Hey, Grandpa, what are you known for? Yeah, I was giving up a goal from 180 feet. I thought I was Gretzky.
Apollo C. Grumpy.
TJ, I was wondering why you didn't go pee-pee yet, but you finally did. You beat your record tonight.
There it is. It's all about getting better. Stream by stream, better by better.
Here
All
we
right.
go.
Let's
Oh, this is from
the old Odell's Grumpy. Look at that. Oh man.
Let's see. It's the olden days.
Oh, a second here. Okay.
So Davidson spins it around the board, but not out. Islanders have Park and Rieger up front. That's Davison on the intercept and the clear. Back on D with Meyer.
And I like that there's a goal. It bounces right by Toscala. Oh, you want to talk about a bad infield?
In his defense, that was not 198 feet. It was because from rink to rink, it's 200. And it was taken at the one red line and went into the goal at the other red line. So let's say 190 feet. How about that? Not even, maybe.
Okay.
It wasn't 198 though.
Okay,
See where he's taking it? It's actually
Yeah.
a little bit before the end line. Here it is. Oh man, it's bouncing around.
I'll be
Oh
honest.
man.
It took a weird. What the hell type of hop was that shit?
Boom! It took a sideways hop on him.
You know what I like to call that? The shitty ice that they call us. I don't know how the hell he missed that though.
It took it because it turned on edge and hit an edge and spit to the outside.
My God. Yikes.
Oh my gosh. It looks like today's Islanders just bad.
Yes, Frank. She did go to the game. Alexander Grumpy.
Reminds me of the Vesa Toscala gaff I just sent you.
It was funny, well, because they're on two different platforms and they didn't know that happened at the same time. I just thought it was cool. Please don't give me that injury crap. Every NHL team has injuries and they're playing well. Absolutely.
True.
Lou Nanny, what the fuck? Is that our future general manager? I was about to say Lou Nanny. I was like, who the hell is that? My little brownie, Grumpy.
Feels like something changed with the Islanders after Thanksgiving. They're playing like they're fat and lazy, unmotivated. Is that on the coach or the captain? I just think that they're realizing they're just not that good. And I thought they came out and they played hard today. They just don't have the talent of these other teams. That's what it comes down to.
I don't think it has anything to do with them being fat or lazy. I just don't think they could physically do it. Right? An older team, they start off the season strong and hot with a little bit of a change in the voice. And as the season wears on, your 30-year-old body, just a lot of players, a lot of forwards at the age of 30 or older just can't do it at the same level anymore. They could do it in short spurts, but they can't do it over an elongated 82-game season. That's what we're seeing. Alexander says, in the word of John Cena, TJ, your arms look like a human jar of mayo.
Oh.
Laughing faces there. Drew L says, not on time, TJ, but to dress professionally for both podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
D-cut, Grump.
Grump, if you had Facebook and went to Isles Misery Rated R, you would see Lou taking a horrible beating tonight. He don't pull any punches. Well, we don't pull any punches.
Oh, good gracious.
I just think that the regular ham and egger fans think, hey, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row. That's great. And they just look at where we've been for decades before that. So they think everything's great. They're losers. No offense.
Shay Grumpy.
They should want to win a championship. Shay says, let's do a group game at UBS and chant Fire Lou chants. Only way to get it heard. It's true.
Just don't renew the contract. Don't let that crazy bastard have the ability to make any trades. So start stripping of his powers now.
They're not going to do that.
Start doing it.
Shay said, need to make all the memes from when Barzy was missing last year and do it for Schneider.
Oh, God. Barzy's back to passing too much. Tries to create plays that aren't there. He needs to shoot more, says
okay.
Frank.
It's because look at who's playing with again.
Anders Lee, who never works with Matt Barzal, and Simon Holmstrom. Jesus Christ. Simon Holmstrom and freaking Captain Average.
He was passing when he was playing with Parise and Fashing, or Parise and Cizikas, or Cizikas and Bailey. The thing was, Cizikas will pass and look to get the pass back, and then make the pass back. Certain guys work with us; they just don't fit with him. They can't skate.
Drew says he's
making excuses for injuries like it's fantasy football.
D-Cut saying out-coached.
Out-coached.
Alexander.
Lou, get off your freaking rocking chair and do something to improve this team. I'm 38 years old and won a damn cup. You think you got it tough, Alexander? I'm way older than that.
Oh, there it is. And Drew L.
What happened to those "we suck" chants from the Islanders fans back in the day? Man, we really need those now.
Here's the thing. We still don't have a losing record yet. I think that we're in a tough, and trust me, I know it's coming. Things are going to get worse, I feel like, before they get better. But this is not like this is unseen. We knew this from the start. Alexander Grumpy.
Okay. I was just going to take a little eyeball at where we are in the standings now. He said, I was just born when they won the cup. I'm sorry.
I started screaming and calling Barzal ballerina.
Oh,
man.
See, you got to watch out now, D-Cut. Shay is young and she's very impressionable, and I don't need you getting her in trouble. All right.
Yeah. I was about to say, D-Cut says here, lots of these Facebook
groups run by TJ's little buddies are Lou apologist. TJ knows this, but he keeps it quiet.
That's right. I got to cover it up.
Rick.
I'm doing PR for Lou Lamoriello in the group.
My little brownie says, Caps are making it work with their senior lineup. I'm finally on your side, Grump. Sell them all. Everyone eventually comes over to my way thinking, you got to remember, my little brownie, I'm just ahead of the curve. I am the curve. I can see it coming years in advance. Proactive. We could have turned it around already. Chose not to.
D-Cut. Giving them ballerina shoes.
Don't root on now.
At least they called out the Islanders media matrix.
Yes.
Absolutely. There it is. Always do. Always have. Alexander says, so sick and tired of the crap team on the ice. So mediocre. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. Fire Lou. Fire Lou. Fire Lou. Oh, man. That's a good way to end the show, Grumpy. We're here. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. Thursday. Hey, man, tomorrow's Friday. Have a great Friday.
Yay.
One more day of the work week. Have a great Friday. But, Grumpy, what do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the show. We'll be live with you this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a great Friday, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you again, as always, for tuning in and being with me here, Grumpy. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show tonight. We had a fun one. We enjoyed it.
Yes,
a lot of fun things to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you Sunday, 8 p.m. Don't get in too much trouble. Enjoy your weekend and week coming up. That's right. Hit the thumbs up, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, it helps the algorithm. Gets mine and the Grumpy Old Man's word out to the masses. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you again, as always, Grumpy.